first kickoff of the Big 12 Conference, and we are underway here in Manhattan. And it'll be Robertson at his own 6. Still on his feet and out to the 30. A good return for Clint Robertson. Good field position for Texas Tech as they open up. And there is the football that will head to the College Football Hall of Fame in South Bend, Indiana. They'll bring it over to the sideline. Make sure it's in good hands throughout the afternoon.
Don't tell me they're going to hand it back to Lewis. Representative of the College Football Hall of Fame. That now will go directly to South Bend, Indiana.
And leading the show for Texas Tech, Zebby Lethridge, the quarterback. You see his numbers over 1,800 yards. And he is a junior and a good one. And Timmy, he can not only throw, he gets out in the corner and runs. Only 6 interceptions and 13 touchdowns last year. Byron Hanspard, a good one, the play action. And on the roll is Lethridge. Up to about the 34-yard line. So a gain of about 3 on the first play from scrimmage. And the Chili's offensive backs and receivers for Texas Tech. You cannot talk about the Red Raiders without talking about Byron Hanspard. He is a good one, over 1,300 yards on the season last year.
Yeah, he really is. He's special. You know, when you look at him, you say, hey, he's not that impressive size-wise. 6 foot, 195 pounds. 18 touchdowns in the MVP of the Copper Bowl.
And the offensive line led by Ben Kaufman, a senior out of Edinburgh, Texas. And here's Hanspard to the near side with room. Up to the 46, the 47-yard line, and a first down for Texas Tech. The hit made by Clyde Johnson, defensive back out of Austin, Texas. But a gain of 13 for Hanspard. And another look at the offensive line. Ben Kaufman leading the way at left tackle, but they're a little bit undermanned. Casey Jones, a senior, one of the leaders on the offensive line, out. There's a question with his eligibility right now.
Casey Jones is the kind of guy that'll move to the next level, too, in the National Football League. But Ben Kaufman is the senior, the leader. He is a 3-year starter. He's 280 pounds. They'll rely heavily on him today.
So first down at the 48, the quick offense. And they give the Hanspard left side. Stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Mario Smith, number 4, came up to make the stop, but a good defensive front, although they're trying to replace 3 starters from last year. The linebacking core led by Travis Oaks, whose brother Dirk led the way here at Kansas State the last couple of years, but this is a great young player.
And still a solid defense. This is a big, strong defense with a lot of quicks, and if you see Chris Canty, folks, this guy, he almost turned pro last year. NFL sad he didn't. He is a quality player that plays offense, defense, and returns punts.
2nd and 10, Lethridge on the roll. And run out of bounds at the 48.
Ball carrier number 8, Zebby Lethridge.
Clyde Johnson again in on the stop. Timmy, we talked about the 2 explosive offenses. You look at what Tech did last year, 205 yards on the ground, but the defense for Kansas State, number 1 in the country, giving up only 250 yards per game.
Right. Kansas State, though, right now having containment problems. Here's the big thing, Terry. If you look, 30 points a game for the Tech offense, and that's what Kansas State has to stop. It's an explosive attack that really has, right now, has Kansas State on its heels.
So a big play in terms of the opening drive. 3rd and 7, Lethridge. Run out of the pocket. To Hanspard with the catch, a first down and more. Down to the 35-yard line. Chris Canty on the coverage and the tackle, but a big gain and a big play for this Tech offense.
Those 2 guys right there, Lethridge and Hanspard, accounted for 3/4 of the yards gained and the touchdowns scored last year for Texas Tech. Those are the 2 guys they have to stop. Now, right away, Lethridge is causing problems because of his athletic ability and his quickness to get outside. Just tosses it over. Hanspard's wide open because they're chasing Lethridge. They give up the flats. First down, move the chains again.
That 1-2 punch, Hanspard and Zebby Lethridge. First down at the 35. Here's Byron Hanspard. Fights his way maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Mark Simino along with Deshaun Fogel, the 2 linebackers, in on the tackle. Byron Hanspard, maybe the quickest licensed minister in college football, huh?
Licensed minister, that's right. He's not ordained yet, but he's working toward that. This is what we just talked about. You look at these numbers and you say, whoa, those 2 guys did that. 3/4 of the yards gained and touchdowns scored.
Well, we talked to Bob Cope and Mike Stoops, the 2 defensive coordinators for Kansas State. They said, yeah, it's nice to have all the offense focused on 2 people, but the trick is stopping them. 2nd and 10, and out to Sheldon Bass, the intended receiver. but broken up by Lamar Chapman, and they will test him early.
Yes, they will. Now, you look at the defense, the best secondary in the country, Kansas State, but they're missing Joe Gordon, the All-American cornerback on that side. So Lamar Chapman, the freshman, steps up. They do test him there. He had great inside-out leverage. The ball was caught. He actually knocked it away once he made the catch, knocked him out of bounds. Great coverage.
Chapman, a former quarterback and a high school All-American, beat out Dimitri Denmark for that starting cornerback position. Of course, Joe Gordon, they hope to have back by the Nebraska game.
Big third down.
3rd and 10. Lethbridge, straight drop. Rushed and brought down at the line of scrimmage. Clyde Johnson again in on the tackle. And he has been active early. Andrew Tiggins, big number 99, a senior out of Brooksville, Florida, flushed him out of the pocket.
Terry, watching them in pregame warmups as the field goal team comes on, will tell you that Texas Tech, Jared Greaser, the kicker, he was nailing 57-yard field goals in pregame warmups.
Yeah, we watched him hit 4 or 5 in a row.
He's got a little breeze to his back.
Field goal formation for 98, Tony Rogers.
It's a try of 53 yards. And it is no good.
Oh, he had the distance, just barely missed it.
Had plenty of leg, but no good on the field goal attempt. So we are scoreless, and Kansas State will take over when we come back to Manhattan. Kansas State takes over at its own 36-yard line, and Ryan Cavanaugh, the guy who came on for Matt Miller, who was injured in the Holiday Bowl, those are the numbers he rang up. 242 yards and 4 touchdowns, but making his first start of his career.
It's funny, he says he looks at that MVP trophy, still thinks he's dreaming.
3 receivers set, and the handoff to Mike Lawrence straight up the middle and caught behind the line of scrimmage. And the Chili's offensive backs and receivers for Kansas State. One name is missing, Eric Hickson, who broke a leg, the leading rusher from last year. He is out for the season. But Kevin Lockett, the senior from Tulsa, Oklahoma, the wideout and the #1 receiver in the Big 8 last year.
You know, here's a guy that's All-American not only on the football field but also in the classroom. He graduated last May with a degree in accounting, carries a 3.5 GPA. Very intelligent, talented receiver who will probably break all the receiving records.
2nd and 11. Cavanaugh again to Lawrence. No room. Maybe ahead for a yard or 2. That's it. Corey Chandler, the defensive tackle, made the tackle. And his offensive line for Kansas State,
huge.
Big. They average about 305, led by Jason Johnson, who only goes about 275.
Yeah, he's been called for only 2 penalties his entire career. He's very solid, mistake-free. Both sides of him, Greenwood and Jaycox, are quality players. They like to follow those 3 and already have here in this first series.
Johnson's father, Bob, played for the Kansas City Chiefs right up the road. 3rd and 7, Cavanaugh under pressure, and down he goes. Number 30, Jody Brown.
Came on a safety blitz. Nobody picked him up, untouched. Take a look at this. Watch number 30. Nobody's watching for the safety. They put him on the weak side. There's no tight end, no blocker, no back. Clean shot at the quarterback, Cavanaugh. Boy, as a defensive player, you just chomp at the bit when you see no one in front of you and no one there to pick you up.
So in to punt, James Garcia. And back deep, Dane Johnson calls for the fair catch at the 24-yard line. A good punt of 44 yards.
Huddle coming right off the sidelines and lining up.
So a lot of no huddle last year. And if they don't go no huddle, they at least come quickly to the line. Get up there and go. Here's Byron Hanspart looking for room and is not going to find any. Knocked out at the 25. Lamar Chapman in on the tackle.
Tackle by number 17, Lamar Chapman.
Chapman, a redshirt freshman out of Liberal, Kansas.
It's the first ever matchup between 2 Big 12 schools. Obviously, we've already seen some Big 12 teams play. Texas A&M losing to BYU and Kansas winning big over Ball State the other night. As you look at some of the games around the country.
Lethbridge on the roll, and they've blown the whistle. Flag down about the 27-yard line out there on the far side.
Texas Tech really tries to mess up their defenses by racing to the line and going with no huddle occasionally.
Legal procedure. And they'll move him back. One of the things that coaches have to worry about early on, Timmy, too, the mistakes in that first game.
I'm surprised it took this long. I mean, we're well into the first quarter now. Normally the first game does have a lot of flags. I know that coaches really look for that in the fourth quarter when their legs get tired and they start lunging and using their hands a lot more.
Second down 15.
Spike Dykes. Talked to him yesterday about this conference and the schedules that these teams have to play now. Second and 15, Lethbridge on the roll. Out to the fullback, Sammy Morris. And up to the 30-yard line, Mario Smith in on the tackle.
Kansas State with the #1 defense in the country last year in total defense. They pride themselves in the attack scheme. In other words, with all the teams now going to these wide formations, spread formations, using the run and gun, the fun and gun and passing, they say, well, the defenses haven't caught up. But what they do here at Kansas State, they just play attack football. Now, they all have assignments, but they play very aggressively, and they've got the cornerbacks and secondary to play man-to-man, which allows you to be aggressive like that, and that is a great answer. This is what we were talking about a few minutes ago, just down the road in Lawrence, Kansas with a big win Thursday night over Ball State.
Another big third down play, 3rd and 5 at the 30. And now timeout is called by Texas Tech. Drive of the ball game.
3rd down 5, 30-yard line.
Zevi Lethbridge under center. Morris in motion, and now Lethbridge with a straight drop. Caught at the 40-yard line and knocked out of bounds up at the 47. Donnie Hart with the catch. And again, they work on Lamar Chapman, the redshirt freshman.
Not only did they go to the freshman, but they didn't use Hanspard. Watch this now. They go to Hart, and everybody's looking for Hanspard. This is one-on-one coverage out here with the freshman. Boom, just gives him a little swim move, moves inside, and all of a sudden Chapman trips over his own feet. Lethbridge put it right there. You know, Lethbridge has a strong arm. He's explosive. At times he's erratic, but he reminds me of Randall Cunningham with his feet. He's probably better while throwing on the run.
First down after the gain of 12 straight ahead to the 45-yard line.
Ball carrier number 42.
And a gain of about 2 for Sammy Morris, the redshirt freshman out of San Antonio.
Texas Tech came into this ball game. Part of the game plan was to put a man on Mario Smith. Mario Smith is the free safety. They use him a lot, not only in run support, but on blitzes. They'll also set him back and let him play center field. He is the safety, but they feel like he is such a key to that offense, or that defense, that they want to put a man on him as well as Travis Oaks, the linebacker.
Smith with 2 interceptions in the Holiday Bowl. He was the defensive MVP of that game. 2nd and 7. Here's Hanspard. Hit right at the line and driven down. No gain. Travis Oaks, the man who came up to make the stop, along with Niall Wyron.
Boy, I'll tell you what, Nyron does a great job. Watch Travis Oaks get up in there, boom, take on that block right now, get rid of him and get on the tackle. Wyron's had containment, forced him back into Oaks, and both of those guys brought him down. That is terrific defensive play right there.
Well, Travis's brother Dirk was a star here at Kansas State. He talked about how important it was to have a brother here on campus to ease him into that first year of play. And Travis, last year, the defensive newcomer of the year in the Big 8.
And first team all-academic.
3rd down 6, 46.
Yeah, the defense, they lost a lot. There's not much depth now. They lost Tim Colston and Ray Eagle and as you mentioned, Dirk Oaks. Boy, that's a talented defensive group, though.
3rd and 6 at the 46. Matt DeBuck now in motion to the far side. Lethbridge under pressure, and now the ball's on the turf. And picked up at the 42-yard line by Jerome Evans. The first big play of this game. Kansas State takes over at the 43.
You talk about a confident defense. Look, everybody is lined up here except for Mario Smith, and he is 7 yards off the ball. That's confidence. They've got man coverage everywhere, but the 4 guys up front have such great pressure. Lethbridge is scrambling already. Now stop it right there. He went to catch himself with his hand, and by putting his hand down like that, the ball's out there, got touched by Wyron, fumble, turnover.
The give to Mike Lawrence straight ahead inside the 40 down to the 37-yard line. Gain of about 5 on the first down of this series. Well, the Texas Tech defense, and they will see an 8-man front for much of the game. They like to bring up their linebackers, crowd that line of scrimmage, and stop the run.
It is a very small defense for Texas Tech. The average weight 199 pounds, but it's a defense with big play capabilities. Over the last 2 years, 9 turnovers that they've turned into touchdowns.
Monte Reagor, a freshman starter last year, now in his sophomore year. Kavanaugh to throw. Off the hands of Lockett, and that could have been picked off. The coverage by Jody Brown. The defensive backs for Texas Tech, Tony Darden, who was a quarterback originally in his career. Last year was a wideout. Started the first 5 games, then went down with an ankle injury, but now his first game in that secondary.
High school quarterback. You know, Tech lost 3 starters in the secondary. It's definitely the area of concern for the Red Raiders.
3rd down and 5 at the 38-yard line. Lawrence, the lone setback. And Kavanaugh checks off at the line of scrimmage.
Down to 5 on the play clock. He's got to get the ball snapped.
He does. The quick out is batted down right at the line of scrimmage. Number 34, that's Monte Reagor.
Well, I want to tell you something. Cody Patton, a defensive tackle, actually a nose tackle. He hit Kavanaugh. It looked like he had him on a funny position around his knee. If anything happens to Brian Kavanaugh at quarterback, look out, because Cody Lee Smith, the guy that backs him up, is ill. He's lost 60 pounds. He's been in and out of the hospital. They've got a true freshman in Beasley who probably would come in, so they don't want to lose Kavanaugh.
James Garcia in for his 2nd punt of the afternoon. Muffed by Dane Johnson right at the 10-yard line. And recovered by Kansas State. The tight end, Justin Swift, in on the recovery. And Timmy, that's 2 quick breaks for Kansas State. They weren't able to capitalize on the first.
Dane Johnson just took his eye off of it, plus he's looking back into the sun. But this is a gift. You put Kansas State down inside the 10-yard line, and Kansas State is terrific down in that area. They score almost every time they have it inside the 15. Kansas State gets a huge break here.
So 1st and goal at the 10. Goolsby and Lawrence in the backfield along with Kavanaugh out of the shotgun. Double pass down to Lawrence. Looking for the end zone, can't get there. And stopped at the 6. Nice play by Dane Johnson, the free safety.
You know, we saw that problem in pregame warmups. Guys were trying to field punts for Texas Tech, looking back into the sun. Safest play in football right here, folks. If he drops it, it's just an incomplete pass. Just they go underneath the aggressive Tech defense. Just get it to him like a little shuffle pass and let him go with it.
2nd and goal at the 6. Throws Didier, the tight end, in motion. Here's Lawrence looking for the inside the 5 down to the 2.
Ball carrier was number 20, Mike Lawrence.
Now this is a complicated scheme that Bill Snyder runs here with the offense.
Yeah, but the big thing's up front. Watch how these guys fire out. They slide down the line, hold their blocks. Then here comes big old number 74 over. That's Jay Cox. He clears it out when he's pulling, and that's impressive. That line, as you mentioned, is over 305 pounds. Bill Snyder says it's the best offensive line he's ever had.
Goolsby and Lawrence in the eye. 3rd and goal at the 3. Up is Lawrence. He's not going to get there. Stopped right at the line of scrimmage, Cody McGuire.
All right, Coach, what do you do here now on 4th down and close? You kick the field goal or you go for it? Here we go. Offensive line locks on their blocks. The big difference was, though, they didn't give up. They gave off. The defense slid off the block, got into the hole, and made the stop. Look at this. They got low. They didn't give ground. They got off their blocks and made the tackle. Kansas State is going for it on 4th down.
Bill Snyder, the first big decision of the game.
Didn't get
Lawrence did not get there. Stopped inside the 2 at the 1, and a big stand for Texas Tech.
Oh, Tony Daniels made a great play.
Monte Reagor also there to stop it.
You had your 2 ends pinching down, Reagor and Daniels. Watch the 2 outside guys slide down the line. Boom, here they come. Pinch. Boom, just they collide right on it from the outside, both guys. You know, Tony Daniels, before he hurt his knee in a diving accident last summer, showed great promise. They think he's going to be a terrific, gifted athlete.
And he was a preseason All-Southwest Conference player before the season, obviously, and an odd accident. So Texas Tech, a big swing of momentum, but now they take over at the 1-yard line. Lethbridge just trying to get room to run the offense. May have gained 1. Now you talk to the coaches, Timmy, and ask them about Zebby Lethbridge. They say the biggest difference between last year and this year, at this point at least, is just the confidence that he comes in with to run this offense.
Yeah, you know, he really never has been a mistake type of guy. Only 15 interceptions in 2 years. Once went 211 straight passes without an interception, but he's so much more confident in what that does. It gives himself the quickness because he's not thinking anymore. He's just reacting.
2nd and 8. Hanspart up to the 5 maybe. Travis Oaks made the stop.
I don't mean he's just not thinking. He's not thinking about what he has to do. He reacts
Sometimes
instinctively.
you think too much
Yeah.
on the football field.
Boy, Kansas State got a great break after the fumble on the punt and couldn't capitalize. Remember that one, folks.
2 big breaks, in fact. The fumble by Lethbridge, and they could not move the ball, and then the fumble getting the ball at the 10. Lethbridge on the roll. Throwing deep. He's got Stacy Mitchell behind the defense. Up to midfield and knocked out of bounds actually at the 49-yard line. What a huge play.
I'm sure Lamar Chapman, who gave up another reception there, the freshman, may not have ever seen him. He's only 5'5". Here's the 3rd smallest guy in all of college football, but watch him. He's the inside receiver now. Here he is. He knows he's covered. Breaks off his route. Slides behind Chapman. Great read by Mitchell that time to break off, adjust, and Lethbridge found him. Finally taken down by Clyde Johnson. 5'5". Remember Ty Thurman?
Yeah. He's about 5'3".
5'3", All-American.
So a gain of 45. Hanspart, no room. Got back to the line.
Boy, they ought to use Stacy Mitchell more. I mean, the guy runs 4'4". Nobody can even find him. He's only 5'5".
5'5", 150 pounds. Out of DeSoto, Texas. Brings up a 2nd and 10 at the 49. Some of the other games going on ESPN tonight at 7:30 Eastern. That would be 6:30 Central here in this area. West Virginia taking on Pitt. Play action. Looking to get outside is Lethbridge. And tiptoes to about the 49, but there's a flag down right at midfield.
Late flag, and it should have been thrown immediately. Kansas State got caught coming across the neutral zone before the snap. It'll be offsides against Kansas State. Watch this. Here it is. They're anticipating. They've been going on a quick count, and now all of a sudden Lethbridge goes on the 3rd count. He goes go, 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 and they jumped.
And that's got to be awfully tough, too, for Bill Snyder's defense, because they come up to the line, and normally he goes on that first count, and they go.
It's funny, isn't it? We talked about that yesterday. During practice, he kept going on that first go. And every time I said, boy, you can anticipate that if you're the defense. And then Spike Dykes kind of smiled. You know, he knows he'll change up the count and catch him.
2nd down 5, 46-yard line.
The first matchup in this Big 12 conference, and things have changed for the former members of the Southwest Conference. Obviously, everyone here, but in terms of schedule, boy, things are awfully tough now. 2nd and 5, Lethbridge on the roll. Goes behind his receiver, but caught at the 35-yard line. And that's Donnie Hart again. So they'll move the chains once again. Texas Tech pretty impressive so far. Don't forget, at the conclusion of today's game, we will select the Genuine Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the game from each team. To date, Chevrolet has awarded nearly $6 million to the scholarship funds of America's colleges and universities.
A lot of people may be surprised by what's taken place here in the first quarter so far. Kansas State came in the favorite, playing at home. They thought, well, they'll get off here quickly, but they've been the slow ones, and there they jump again.
That ball. Ball start on the offense.
And it goes against Texas Tech this time.
Officials discussed it long time. They looked like Wyron jumped again, but he was drawn off this time. This would drive a coach nuts. Spike Dykes, terrific offensive mind.
40-yard line.
3 straight bowl wins or games, excuse me. 5 straight years no lower than second in the Southwest Conference.
Tell you this, his offenses have set 59 individual and/or team records since he's come to Texas Tech.
2 passing records in the last 2 matchups against Kansas State. 1st and 15. Here's Lethridge on the roll. Gets out of bounds about the 34-yard line. Looked like Ryan Jones was about to set a big block for him, but he got out of bounds. Now Monday night, the biggest names in the history of professional football share their memories with us in a 1-hour primetime special. Join us for ABC's Monday Night Football Mania. And the Chicago Bears host Troy Aikman and the world champion Dallas Cowboys on the season premiere of ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. In action Monday night here on ABC Sports.
There was some doubt whether Emmitt Smith would be able to play in that game. Obviously, he now has gotten to go, wants to play, says he's ready and confident to go.
2nd and 9 for Lethridge. Throws out to his fullback Ryan Jones, who can't hold on.
Pass is intended for number 43.
Coverage by Travis Oaks.
Defending on the play, number
And Lethridge now 5 out of 7 for 92 yards.
Surprising how easily the Red Raiders have been able to move the ball. Now, they did that in the bowl game, the Copper Bowl against Air Force. They averaged 9 yards per carry. But here they've mixed up the offense. They've gone to little intermediate routes in their passing game. They've given it to Harnsbard.
Kansas State has won its last 6 home openers. Texas Tech's last win on the road in an opener in 1977. That was against Baylor. 3rd and 9. A lot of time now flushed out of the pocket is Lethridge. And Zevi is dumped at the 36-yard line.
That'll bring up 4th down. Another field goal attempt. But I'll tell you this, when you look at those numbers about opening days, look at the difference in the teams, though. And that's been something they've talked about here. I mean, you know, Temple and Akron, they aren't on the schedule anymore. Now they're playing a tougher opener. Look at the quickness of this guy. He's got a great sense of where the pressure's coming from, gets outside. He's still looking for a receiver as he gets on the corner, but he has nowhere to go, so they'll try this one more time.
Field goal formation, number 98, Tony Rogers.
Tony Rogers now on for the field goal try.
He has a strong leg too, Terry. He missed a 58-yarder in the pregame warm-ups, but made from this distance.
This is a 53-yard attempt. Long enough, and it is good. A 53-yard field goal by Tony Rogers, and it's 3-0.
You know, Spike Dykes just must have a feeling, and I know he watches these guys in pregame warm-ups. This guy was drilling them from that distance before the game started. Had a good hold too. Watch this. It's a low snap, but watch how it's fielded. Boom. Now get it up, turn the laces. Gives him a good hold, and that's a strong leg by Tony Rogers. And watch this. He not only punched it through, but he made it with room to spare. And when we told you that he missed a 57-yarder in the pregame warm-ups, it was long enough. It was just wide.
Mm-hmm. Field Scoville, the holder on that, and a nice play.
Game to August 31st, not because they were dying to play the first ever Big 12 game, but to break up that schedule. I mean, they've got Kansas, Nebraska, A&M, and as you said, Texas, and they would have had Kansas State in there, so they moved it to this date.
Andre Anderson back deep, awaiting the kick for Kansas State.
Number 22, Jimmy Dean, and number 25,
Jared Gracer.
Anderson.
And it's Anderson at his goal line. Still on his feet at the 20 and taken down at the 21-yard line. Bobby Cartwright made the tackle. Well, tomorrow night on ABC, Steve Martin in a network television premiere. Sarah Jessica Parker co-stars in LA Story. It's all part of ABC's Sunday night lineup, starting with America's Funniest Home Videos and Lois and Clark tomorrow night on ABC.
All right, Kansas State has to get something going here. Virtually no offense. As a matter of fact, if you look at the first downs, Texas Tech has had 5 of them. Kansas State has yet to get one.
8 total yards.
That's with under 2 minutes to play in the first quarter.
An optimist would say at least they're balanced. Kavanaugh to throw on first down. And almost picked off by Johnson.
Dane Johnson read that thing. He was playing free safety. Was in his own coverage. They had 2 deep, 5 under. All right, here comes Jimmy Dean. Now watch, gets a move. He's got man coverage here, but all of a sudden, boom, Johnson's playing free because he's back in the 2 deep and almost had the pick.
And knows it.
See Brian Kavanaugh with his first start today of this season. First start as a quarterback in Kansas State. He's got to read that 2 deep and know somebody's playing free.
He's played in 14 games throughout his career, but this is his first start. 2nd and 10, looking up top, near sideline to Lockett. A lot of contact, and the crowd wants the flag, but none comes.
Corey Turner was looking around for it, though. There is a flag back by Kavanaugh back in the Kansas State. And it's going to be roughing the passer against Texas Tech. Kavanaugh seemed to have a lot of time, but watch this now. Here's the bumping and grinding that's going on. It's man coverage again. Now Lockett thinks he can beat him. Says if I'm even, I'm leaving. But look, that's pretty good coverage by Turner, who's using that left arm rather easily and a lot. He got away with it. Now he'll stand up and look for a flag.
First down.
They still get tagged for 15 yards for roughing Kavanaugh in the backfield.
So they move it up to the 36-yard line, just outside of the 35. But there's no question there was contact all the way up the sideline.
Incidental contact's not bad, but when you start using that left arm to gain an advantage, they've got to call it.
Mike Lawrence straight ahead up to the 37.
Number 20, Mike Lawrence.
Gain of almost 2. Lawrence, the 2nd leading rusher last year, gained almost 600 yards
Tackled by number 99,
and had 4 starts. But we mentioned Eric Hickson, who is out with a broken leg,
2nd down, 7,
and he is out for the
38-yard
season.
line.
So Lawrence becomes the starting tailback and takes on the load. See his numbers from 95.
Yeah, he got a lot of playing time last year, so he's time tested. Had 4 starts, 599 yards on the year.
Strong runner, benches about 330 pounds and only weighs about 190.
He's not a breakaway threat, though, like Hickson.
4 receivers in that. Kavanaugh up to midfield, complete to Jimmy Dean. And to the 48 of Texas Tech. Tony Dard made the tackle, and let's step away and check in with John Saunders up in New York. John?
All right, Terry, thanks a lot. We're going to bring you some action from the ACC. Clemson against North Carolina, and Leon Johnson, who seems like he's been there forever, but he still has this year left, busting this one down towards the goal line. Just tripped up right there. They spotted at the 1. He takes it in on the next play. Carolina leading Clemson 7-0. Terry.
So Leon Johnson starting the year off right. The Heels at home against Clemson. 1st and 10, Kavanaugh up to the 42-yard line. And down to the 40, Kevin Lockett not only caught it, but did something after he got it.
Kevin Kavanaugh in the last 2 possessions has been throwing in rhythm. He's finding his step. He's using that back foot to force himself into the throw. And I mean to tell you, he's throwing frozen ropes. Really putting a lot of velocity on this ball.
August 31st, 1996, a day that certainly will be remembered in this part of the country, and I think through most of the country. The inaugural game of the Big 12. 2nd and 2 on the 40-yard line. Brian Kavanaugh under pressure. Throws it out to Lockett, but out of bounds.
Boy, what a play by Anthony Armour. Came on a blitz, showed the blitz. Nobody picked him up again. Back tried to pick him up and couldn't. Kavanaugh now 3 for 8. Look at 37, Armour. Anthony Armour comes through. Nobody's going to stop him. That just forces Kavanaugh to unload it, so he basically just throws a dead duck out of bounds. Lockett had no shot at that. Oh, Lockett has made a catch, though, which extends his streak to 33 consecutive games.
You look at Armour, Butkus Award candidate, a senior from Dallas. And Colorado has scored again. It is 10-0 over Washington State. Cole Detmer with the 1-yard run. 3rd and 2, Kavanaugh with a straight drop. Lockett again. He's out there, and he makes an incredible grab at the 11-yard line. What a catch.
You know, I think Turner was going to get called anyway for pass interference, but that was a terrific catch.
One-on-one with Corey Turner. We saw it a moment ago, but Timmy, I'm not sure how he hauled this one in.
No, again, it's man coverage, though, and Turner, the sophomore, having a tough time with him. This ball is perfectly thrown over the top. Now watch 21 come under. There's his right hand. He bumps into him, forces Lockett backwards. Lockett still makes the catch. You know, nobody in this conference has gained more than 2,150 yards and caught more than 145 passes by the end of his senior year, or his sophomore year, rather. And Lockett has.
Gain of 29. 1st and 10 at the 12. There's Lockett again inside the 5 to the 4. No question who they want to go to.
Well, he's a sure-handed receiver. I mean, the guy can get free. He knows how to run the disciplined routes and how to break them off. And Kavanaugh right now feels very comfortable to him. He's putting the ball right where he has to. He's not breaking stride. He's getting outside of the linebackers and in one-on-one coverage with the DBs. He knows, and he's got enough confidence in Lockett that he'll get there and get free.
Needed 307 yards coming into this game to become the all-time leading receiver in K-State history. 2nd and 2. Lawrence straight ahead. Maybe a yard and a half. That's it. You remember the last drive after the fumble on the punt. Kansas State took over at the 10-yard line and could not score. They went for it on 4th down, and Lawrence was stopped.
2 things to look for here. Kansas State has a huge offensive line averaging over 300 pounds. Texas Tech, which is a lot smaller, though, uses this 8-man front, almost like the old wide tackle 6. And I mean, they jam things up in there.
Ryan Goolsby now in at fullback. And a couple of Red Raiders coming across the line.
Oh, my. That's a terrible mental error by Tony Daniels. Tony Daniels just came through and tried to anticipate the count. Down here, you've got to be so disciplined. You've got to watch the ball and not listen to the quarterback. These mistakes can kill you. Watch the top of your screen.
Dead ball. Offside. On the defense. Half the distance. Still 3rd down.
Boy, Tony Daniels has all the tools. They call him a gifted athlete. The guy's got tremendous potential. 6'5", 250. I mean, he's the prototype defensive end on this level. Just for a minute had a mental breakdown, mental mistake that really cost him. Now it gives him that ball down inside the 3-yard line.
Well, it was 3rd and 3 at the 4. Now it's 3rd and 1 at the 2. Kavanaugh straight ahead, and I believe he got it, and that's what it allows you to do as an offense. The penalty, very costly.
Now you're down inside the 1 and have 1st and goal.
Now, the defense had stopped Lawrence on the previous play, and of course on that goal line stand. But the penalty brought it actually under a yard.
Hold on.
1st down.
They're going to measure this thing, though. That's how close it is. He may not have gotten it. First down.
Well, the football's linked.
As a defense here, you can't give up. A defense, even though they're down inside the 2-yard line and now have 1st and goal, 4 shots at it, you've got to tell yourself you've got to make that stop. You've got to put your nose and chin almost to the ground and get under the offense. Defensive lineman's job is just to get under that offensive line and make a pileup so the linebackers can come and fill.
That's exactly what Daniels and Monte Rager did on that goal line stand. But now it's 1st and goal at the 1, the 10th play of the drive for Kansas State. Goolsby, the fullback, to the goal line, and he didn't get in.
Number 30,
Ryan Goolsby, the sophomore out of Dodge City, Kansas. And just like that, Colorado up 17-0.
Detmer, 1-yard touchdown run, adds to his statistics. He's a Heisman Trophy candidate.
Final year at Colorado.
Boy, watch the play by Rieger, number 34. See him, the right hand of your screen? Again, he's pinching down, makes the stop. Boy, if you're Goolsby, you have to reach that ball earlier before your mark down, before your knee touches.
Kavanaugh straight ahead. Did he break the plane?
He got it.
He got it. Touchdown, Kansas State. It wasn't easy, but maybe on the second effort, Ryan Kavanaugh on a quarterback sneak got to the end zone.
You know, sometimes when your offensive line is that big, you've got to wait to find the hole. Look at this. He can't get through his own guys. Now watch. He'll bounce, keep driving. Oh, I don't know. You know, his knee touched before he broke that plane. But here they give it to him.
Jamie Ream on for the extra point. And it is good.
Watch his right knee as he goes in. He hasn't broken the plane, and there's his knee. He touched.
Kansas State has taken the lead over Texas Tech. 11:42 left until halftime. Clint Robertson at his own 3 with the drop. Nowhere to go. Out to maybe the 17-yard line, and that's where Texas Tech will take over. What about the last touchdown, Timmy?
Terry, awfully close. We told you how close this was. Now take a look at it. Let it roll. But we're going to freeze it now as Kavanaugh gets near the goal line. Again, we told you that his knee may have touched before he crossed that plane. Now here he comes, and I'm going to tell him to freeze this replay in just a sec. All right, go ahead and freeze it now. All right, there's his knee. Is on the ground. Here's the ball. The ball has to break the field side of that plane. It does. So that's a good call by the official. He's in there. That's a touchdown. But that's how close it was.
Gotta have pretty good eyes to pick that out. Just did get across the line. Hanspart straight ahead. He gets caught behind the line. May have lost a yard. Thad Swazer in on the tackle, along with Andrew Timmons. So it brings up 2nd down and 10 at the 17-yard line. Well, Texas Tech has been able to move the football. The one field goal by Rogers, Tony Rogers, a 53-yard field goal on the last drive. Lethbridge looking for receivers, and now Room. He can run up to the 27.
Terry, is he dangerous? Oh my, what a dimension he gives an offense.
We talked to the defense coordinators for Texas Tech. They said the number one thing, Byron Hanspart, yes, but Lethbridge, you have to contain him and not let him scramble out of the pocket.
First of all, they spread the defense. They had 3 receivers to one side and Hart to the other. Now watch this. He looks. Defense is thin anyway. Now they're spread out with a rush. He finds the gap and explodes. Finally, Mark Semino has to chase him down, but he moves the chain, or almost moves the chains, gets up 3rd down and short now.
19 yards rushing on the afternoon with Zebby Lethbridge. The pitch out to Hanspart, one-on-one on the corner. Up to 47-yard line. Hanspart with a big gain and a 1st down for Texas Tech. And let's take you up to John Saunders in New York.
All right, Terry, Washington State and Colorado. Coy Detmer already had run one in for a touchdown here. He spots James Kidd at about the 3, fights off a couple of tackles and spins it in for the touchdown. 7 yards, and right now Colorado and the Buffs rolling 17-zip over Washington State. Terry.
All right, John. Folks talking about how dangerous Washington State was going to be for Colorado. Not so far. Number 5 team in the country. 1st and 10 at the 46 after the big gain by Hanspart. Quick throw, and too quick for Ryan Jones.
Mark Semino's lucky he didn't get charged with pass interference there too. The linebacker just riding him out.
Well, we told you it's a hot afternoon. Fans on the sidelines. Temperature in the mid-80s. Down on the field, I'm sure at least 10 to 15 degrees warmer than that. Got a breeze up here, but not a whole lot down on the field. Here comes the option to Hanspart. gets outside and may have gotten the first down. He did.
Throw a flag. There's no reason for that.
Late hit.
Ball carrier is number
That's
4,
frustration
Byron
right there.
Hanspard.
Beat everybody. The defensive back gets out, gets frustrated, and throws it down way out of bounds.
Tim, he was out of bounds by 3 or 4 strides.
Boy, he sure was. Now here comes Mario Smith. Mario Smith has his. Now here's a guy that should know better too. Mario Smith is a senior. He should know better than that. He's way out of bounds when he throws him down. Now that's twice they've run that play. They've run the little option, the pitch to Hanspard. Now let me tell you something. You are going to see the wide receiver come and go in between those two eventually, and they'll run the reverse off of that.
The gain of 12 by Hanspard, but now the penalty tacked on.
First
So
down and 10,
they move it all the way
Texas
down
Tech,
to
28-yard
the
line.
28-yard line. Jones and Hanspard in the backfield. Here's Byron. Sidesteps the tackler, loses the ball for a moment. And Texas Tech saying that he got it back, and the official saying he was down. Mario Smith was in there on the stop.
Mario Smith stoned him. I mean, just flat out. It was a slobber knocker, and the ball came loose. Hanspard did get it back, but I'm telling you, that just the head contact forced that ball out. Like pressure in a cork.
He will hit you.
We told you, they use him almost like a linebacker. Here he comes up, boom. Just forces that ball out with the velocity of the hit.
Here's Lethridge to the end zone. Sheldon Bass, the intended receiver.
You hit a guy that quickly with that much power, that can cause problems.
What's Smith? He's only 190 pounds, but he hits you with some force. Sheldon Bass, who had a heck of a year 2 years ago as a leading receiver for Texas Tech, but then dislocated a collarbone and missed last season.
Terry, are you surprised that here we are now with just 9 minutes left in the half, and it's only a 7-3 ball game? 2 explosive offenses.
55 and 54 points in the bowl games last year, and it's 7-3 with 9 minutes plus remaining here in the first half.
Both have terrific defenses, though.
3 receivers to the far side on 3rd and 8. Lethridge goes down.
Boy, look who it is.
42, Mark Semino.
Semino came on a blitz, read the play immediately. His key went away. He followed through the hole. Bingo. Red shirt freshman. Watch 42. Here he comes. His key goes away. He's on Lethridge all the way. That's quickness. You talk about an attack defense, a go-get-you type of defense. That's it.
Loss of 5, so that moves them back to the 31-yard line. A huge play. And it brings up 4th and 13, so Rogers on for a try from 48 yards. He's already hit a 53-yarder. Plenty long enough, but he hooked it just outside the upright. Sports regional action beginning at 11 a.m. Central. You will see the Spartans of Michigan State battling #1 Nebraska. Then at 2:30 Central, you can catch TCU taking on Oklahoma. A host of other games available on pay-per-view as well. So check with your local cable operator. That's next Saturday on ABC Sports. College football, the season well underway. 8:27 left here until halftime. 1st and 10 at the 31. Kavanaugh up top for Lockett. Again, a lot of contact on the near sideline, but no flag.
Boy, there is no question. Darwin Brown, another freshman, number 3, actually pushed off.
And Lockett talking about it right now, asking for a flag.
All right, watch this. You got a freshman working on Lockett. Here they go. You cannot bang him or bump him after 5 yards. Look at this. He's all over him. Well, I don't know. That's not a. You know what? It looked more flagrant when it happened originally.
Well, the left arm was in there, and we saw it earlier. Corey Turner with his right arm. But there wasn't a whole lot of meaningful contact there. You're right.
That's a good no call.
Kavanaugh now 5 of 10 for 62 yards. Lockett has caught 3 for 45, and this one off his hands. In fact, it was tipped twice. There's a flag back at the 30-yard line.
You can have all the incidental contact you want. on a play like that. That defensive player has as much right to that ball as the offensive player. And, you know, I mentioned that fiver, that's not right. But what they do is they go back and forth. You can't flagrantly push. You can't gain an advantage with an arm.
Well, that's the key, though, Timmy, the arm. I mean, it's one thing to have contact, but both
Right.
have used the arm.
And in that one, I think that's a good no call.
Illegal motion against the offense. Penalty is declined. It'll be third down.
The illegal motion declined, so it brings up 3rd and 10. Do you see some of the other scores from around the country? Mike Lawrence, the lone setback. Play action. Now on the run, and he underthrows the intended receiver, Justin Swift. Dane Johnson was there on the coverage, but good coverage in the secondary that time for Texas Tech.
I think Kavanaugh was a little bit confused by what Texas Tech did. They only had 3 down linemen since it was such a situation, a long yardage situation. They backed off their linebackers to get into pass coverage and almost a prevent scheme.
So it brings up 4th and 10, James Garcia. His punt, a good one. Matt DeBuck back at the 20-yard line with the fair catch, and a punt of 48 yards by Garcia. No return with the fair catch. What we thought was going to be a game of high scoring is 7-3, Kansas State. Texas Tech, in fact, the last 2 times these 2 teams have met, Texas Tech has broken passing records in each of those games. So 1st and 10 at the 21 for the Red Raiders. Hanspart to the near sideline. Outside to the 27-yard line, gain of about 4, and we step away. Go to New York to check in with John Saunders. John?
Their defense, despite losing 2 of the top 3 draft picks, got Dreisbach to Clarence Williams. The fumble is recovered by Dreisbach, but Steve Willis pounces on him in the end zone for the safety, and it's 7-2 Illinois now on the board. Terry.
All right, John, so the Illini leading in that Big Ten matchup. Well, all the games within conferences to open up the season. Used to be, you never saw that. 2nd and 4 up to Sheldon Bass and incomplete.
You're right. I think it's good. I think Bear Bryant was the one that really used to load up his schedule with some easy players because he liked to build the first several games before he got into conference play. But I think the bigger the game, of course, now money's such an issue. Get television coverage and everything else that goes along with good, solid matchups. But the first full day of college football with 19 bowl games waiting for teams.
27-yard line.
Sugar Bowl this year waiting for the national championship.
Coverage on ABC Sports. Well, Texas Tech, no stranger to tough openers last year. Lost to Penn State, but they had the Nittany Lions down. Last second field goal. 3rd and 4. Johnny Hart with a catch and knocked out of bounds at the 34-yard line, and I believe he has a first down.
He does have the first, or he's at least close to it. No, he does have the first, and again, they're working on Lamar Chapman, the freshman. Just a timing pattern. Watch this. It's all rhythm. 5-step drop. Now it's the out pattern. The freshman Chapman gave too much ground, and when Hart squared it off, all Lethbridge had to do was put it right there.
Well, you got a feel for Chapman, too. They have worked him throughout the entire first half.
I tell you, that's close to another late hit.
They moved the chains, and now 1st and 10 at the 34. Lethbridge on the run. Throws and complete up at the 47-yard line, and what a catch. Field Scoville keeping his feet in bounds.
Boy, Tech's leading receiver in 95 only had 16 receptions. Graduated last spring, but watch this catch. This is phenomenal. Does he drag his feet? He's working on the All-American Chris Canty. I cannot believe the leverage that they're letting Lethbridge have on the corners. Watch this now. Here it goes. Did he get a foot down? There's the catch. The official's right there looking at it saying he dragged his feet. Just needs one in. That's one great catch.
And really the first time we've seen them work on Chris Canty. Hanspart Gets by one tackler, but not the line. He goes right back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it.
Boy, what a catch. You know, Field Scoville was originally a walk-on. Now here he is. He's a starter. He's a quality receiver. He graduated last spring, and he's getting ready for medical school.
His dad, a quarterback at Tech in the 60s. His granddad,
A legend.
Mr. Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, Field Scoville, a legend. Actually, Field Scoville came in here as a quarterback, like his dad, John.
Former walk-on. He's had a great career. 2nd and 9. A little screen out to Hanspart. He gets by Oaks and knocked out of bounds at the 44-yard line. Mario Smith knocked him out. Well, they find ways to get the ball to Byron Hanspart.
Pass was complete to number 4, Byron Hanspart.
Well, I tell you, this would be a great time now that you're in Kansas State territory. You've run that option a couple times. Now bring that receiver back on the option reverse. Especially as aggressive as Kansas State is. Let them run themselves out of the play.
Pretty good numbers put up last year and in the Cotton Bowl, or the Copper Bowl, by Byron Hanspart.
3rd leading returning scorer in the nation.
3rd down and 5 at the 47. Jones in motion. Here comes Hanspart trying to turn the corner. Down to the 35-yard line, and another first down for Texas Tech.
Ball carriers number 4, Byron Hanspart.
A gain of 12, and when you get him isolated out on the corner, there's almost no way to stop him.
Terry, I am shocked. I am shocked by the way Kansas State and giving up the corners. This guy's so elusive, man. He just makes you miss. If you don't play inside out, that was Candy, the All-American. If you don't play inside out, if you don't break down and come up under control, you're going to run right by him. Boy, he does a great job. Never offers up his entire body. Lord Byron Hanspart.
He gets a break. Adrian Irvin in now at tailback. Flags everywhere.
Tell you a great story about Byron Hanspart as soon as we get the call here.
False start.
It's a false start against Texas Tech. You mentioned that Hanspart is a licensed minister. You know, he was recruited by Notre Dame, and he was going to Texas A&M. And I was actually driving to Texas A&M when he stopped off at Texas Tech to visit some friends, took a shower, and in the shower, he saw some shadows and thought God was telling him, this is where you're going to school. So somebody asked Spike Dykes the other day, said, is he going to leave and go to the NFL? He says, well, we've been keeping him out of the shower. we don't let him take baths.
Well, it's turned out just fine at Texas Tech. Play action. Lethridge underneath to the fullback. Jones stopped at the 45-yard line. Travis Oaks read it perfectly.
Terrific play by Travis Oaks. He was locked on as Shane Dunn just went by him and made the hit.
Tomorrow, don't miss the final round of the Greater Milwaukee Open presented by Miller Lite. Jesper Parnevik at 19 under leads the pack. And of course, in his professional debut, Tiger Woods at 4 under. He was 2 over on his round today. He's 15 shots back. Our coverage begins at 3 Central here on ABC Sports. What a story that is, huh? Tiger Woods.
How strong is that? 67-69 today was 2 over.
Lethridge underneath, almost picked off. Mario Smith had it in his hand. Matt DeBuck, the intended receiver, but Mario Smith, who had 2 interceptions in the Holiday Bowl last year. Boy, he read it. He just didn't hang on to it.
He sure did. Look at him up there, number 4. He was playing free. The corners were in man coverage. A little bit of a combo. He read it, broke the ball nicely. Probably should have had the pick. You know, if you listen up in the booth to Bob Cope, the defensive coordinator, he'll probably say, come on, Mario, you got to make that interception.
The 10th play of the drive coming up. And the ball resting on the 44. The 3rd and a whole lot now, 3rd and 19.
Timeout, Kansas State.
Timeout, Kansas State.
Terry.
You go up and down the line in both the North and the South. It's an incredible conference this year.
Lethridge pulled out of there, and the ball didn't come back from Jay Pugh.
Zebby was ready for the ball, but Jay wasn't ready to give it to him.
There's the count. There goes Lethridge, and the ball never comes.
Now the rest of the line moved as well, so you got to believe Jay was maybe one off on his count.
You know, Kevin Ward started the last 7 games last year at center, but Jay Pugh came back in better shape, had a better camp, was more consistent, won the job. A little confusion on that last play, however.
Well, it's 3rd and 24 now. Lethridge, he's going down in the backfield, so is his helmet.
All right, but see where he went down is not where they're going to mark the ball. They're going to mark it back where his helmet came off. It's a brand new rule this year. Wherever a ball carrier's helmet comes off, that's where the ball is dead. That's where it's marked.
Thad Swayzer, the man who got there. The 4th sack of the afternoon.
Just came off that backside. We saw it earlier. Nobody picked up Swayzer. Now see, he got some yardage back, but instead of that, with the new rule, they put it back at the 42. He never did see him coming. He does feel him here when he turns. Boom, mark the ball right there.
So 4th and 30, Texas Tech having to punt it away. Jeremy Hernandez, Chris Canny back at his own 16. And out to the 23, that's where Kansas State will start their next drive. A punt of 42 yards by Hernandez and a return of 7. Chris Canny, we talked earlier, the All-American defensive back. He had 8 interceptions a year ago. That was tied for tops in the country. And this year, using him on offense as well.
I'm surprised they have not used him more offensively. I'm surprised they haven't gone to him offensively. Such a threat every time he touches it. There was so much talk last year whether Candy was going to come out and go to the National Football League. And that was after his sophomore season. I know Ron Lynn of the Washington Redskins thinks so highly of him. But he stayed, and now they're using him more and more. A lot like Deion Sanders.
Mike Lawrence trying the left side. Won't get anywhere. Falls ahead for maybe a yard. That stingy defensive front of Texas Tech when they bring 7 and 8 people up front.
Hey, don't be surprised if they make a change here now and they give Lawrence a break and get Marlon Charles in there. They think Charles is more of a breakaway threat. Charles also has got a little bit more diversity to his game. It's really been impressive in practice. He's got everybody's attention in the spring game when he ran for 114 yards.
In 5 games last year, there's Marlon, number 21. 124 yards on the year. 2nd and 8, Kavanaugh with a lot of time this time. Out to his tight end, Justin Swift, and a lot of room. To the 42-yard line of Texas Tech. Justin Swift, 6'4", 245 pounds. He's a sophomore out of Overland Park, Kansas, and a gain of 32.
And as if he's not big enough, you know, he was a 6'6" high jumper in high school. This is something that Kansas State has not done very much of in the past. Use their tight end, get him involved, use him as a receiver rather than a blocker. They dragged him all the way across. Texas Tech hadn't seen much of that from Kansas State, didn't expect it. He cleared the linebackers and was wide open.
So 3:42 and counting here until halftime. And Kansas State driving now inside Texas Tech territory at the 42. Goolsby and Lawrence in the out. Here's Lawrence. Good gain up to about the 36-yard line.
I think the running game is such a huge key for Kansas State, only averaging 3.5 yards per carry last year. And it has to work to take the pressure off of Lockett, the wide receiver.
And there is a player injured right now, Cody Patton, defensive tackle.
You know, Terry, talking about how important that running game is for Kansas State. And really, they didn't have that much success last year. But Lawrence now has 10 carries and 22 yards. That's not a great percentage. So they aren't getting what they should out of their running game. And that, I think, is hampering the passing game. And consequently, they only have 7 points.
Now, last year, they averaged about 230 yards in the air and 172 on the ground. That was last in the Big 8. Cody Patton made the tackle on that last play, and he's the man down, big number 99. I think they're working on his right leg.
.280-pound guy is big. There he is right here. Now watch what happens to him. Let's erase that, watch the play develop, and see if we can pick up how he got hurt. Still in the chase. Oh, I see his own guy caught him. Who was that? It looks like Jody Brown, the safety, the rover, number 30, actually came in and his body weight forced him and motion forced him into his leg. Rolled up on his ankle.
Yeah, it looked like he may have come down on his ankle. This is a small defensive front and a small defense anyway. Cody Patton going 279 pounds, a big guy, but overall they rely on bringing more men up to the line of scrimmage, and against an offensive line like Kansas State, they can ill afford to lose some people.
Awfully quick too. They rely on pressure, as you said, and they've been successful doing that. So Cody McGuire will come into the game and replace Cody Patton at nose tackle.
37-yard line.
So 2nd and 5 at the 37. Dean in motion. Kavanaugh up top to Swift and through his hands. He had it at the 15 but couldn't hold on.
Pass is intended for number
Dane
86,
Johnson
Justin
on the
Swift.
coverage.
Incomplete.
And that's a ball that I'm sure Justin Swift would say, I want back.
Oh, there is no question about it. Dane Johnson can take credit of that, but he was beaten coming from his free safety spot. That ball has to be caught. Justin Swift had it, took his eye off of it, and dropped it. It's a well-designed play. They moved everybody to the left, actually had some motion in that direction, and then sent the tight end, Swift, on a little flag pattern.
How tough is that to jog over to the sideline after you drop one of those? Just had the big gain on the previous.
It's all right. You just go to the other side.
3rd and 5. Kavanaugh over the middle. Complete to Anderson. Inside the 20 and down to the 16-yard line. So moves from Andre Anderson after the catch. A gain of 21.
Watch Andre Anderson, 25. He's a Florida kid from West Palm, went to the same high school as Anthony Carter and broke all his records. Now watch this, a little shake of the hips, boom, get through there and pick up a few extra yards. He's a nice looking receiver. How tough must it be to get a guy from West Palm Beach to come to Manhattan, Kansas? That's a culture shot.
A little different environment. Lawrence tripped up behind the line of scrimmage, may have battled his way back to the line. But that's about it. Well, the lure of Big 12 football is what brings them.
You're right about that. That's quite a lure. Most powerful conference in the country. I really believe that.
Folks in the SEC would argue with you, I guess, but I think you're probably right when you look at.
Well, the numbers, Terry, speak for themselves when you have 7 teams in the top 25 and 7 bowl teams last year, and the defending national champion, and hadn't lost a game in 25 outings.
Washington State now on the board against Colorado. 2nd and 11 for Kavanaugh. To the end zone, Lockett wide open, and he overthrew him.
Tony Darden, the cornerback, had fallen down. That's one Kavanaugh now is really frustrated about. Can't believe he missed the throw. Watch this. Now watch Darden, number 11, will fall on the break. Stumbles right here and goes down. Lockett is wide open. All you have to do is just float the ball out there because there's nobody around him. Kavanaugh just shook his head and looked at the sky.
It's one of those passes, though, the timing pattern that you throw sometimes before the break is even made. So
yeah, good point.
Kavanaugh didn't even know that Darden had fallen down. So it brings up a critical 3rd down, 3rd and 11 at the 17. And Kavanaugh wants to talk things over with Bill Snyder.
Got caught in a time jam, looked at the play clock, it was down to 4. Rather than take a penalty down here inside the 25, inside the 20, you want to stop that clock and take a timeout.
And let's take you down to the 3rd member of our crew, Lewis Johnson. Lewis?
All right, Terry, thank you. A sad situation down here on the Texas Tech sideline. Look at big Cody Patton, number 99. He is absolutely in tears. At the moment, trainers are putting an air cast on his right ankle. I cannot confirm that it's broken or what have you, but it does not look good. The look on his face is though his season could be in jeopardy, and it's really unfortunate to see that happen so early in the season, guys.
All right, Lewis. Cody Patton making a tackle earlier in this drive by Kansas State, and his own teammate falling on that right ankle.
Wild West Catbackers, Omaha County. West Menu, Wichita Catbackers, and Nebraska.
I mean, it's one of those things as a football player too. No matter how much you practice, 2-a-days, the grueling aspect of that, but game speed is just nothing like practice speed, is it? I mean, it just becomes so much quicker when you actually go out there and play your first game.
That's a good point. Everything is quicker. Everything changes so dramatically when you do play that game. But that was just a freak accident. I mean, Jody Brown rolled up on it. He too was trying to get into play.
Kansas State with 15 rushing yards and 115 in the air. You look at that drive that they are currently on. 3rd down and 11. Kavanaugh over the middle to Jimmy Dean. Hurdles and into the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas State. Touchdown pass from Kavanaugh to Jimmy Dean, who went high in the air to hurdle a couple of tacklers and his own man and got to the end zone.
How pretty was that screen set up? Actually, the down linemen on defense were telling their linebackers with their hands, back up, back up. Well, they backed so far out of there, and the offensive line released. Dean just came right underneath.
Jamie Ream now on for the extra point, a freshman out of Wichita. In for the injured Martin Gramatica. Oh, and it is good. So it's 14-3. The Wildcats up on Texas Tech, and for much of the first half, it seemed to me that Texas Tech had confidence, had momentum, and all of a sudden, they're down 14-3. Robertson watches it go out of bounds, and we'll bring it out to the 35-yard line.
I tell you what, that's great discipline by him, not trying to field that ball on the sidelines, because as soon as the ball goes out of bounds before it goes past the pylon, they have the choice. Move it right out to the 35, get great field position, and start your offense up there.
Cody Patton going off and heading to the locker room. They have placed the air cast on his right leg, his right ankle that was injured. There you have a look.
Cody Patton from Electra, Texas, playing against some of his high school teammates.
Now, there are 13 players from the state of Texas on this Kansas State roster.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
Byron Hanspart with a big hole. Cross midfield and out of bounds at the 47. Still time left in the first half. A gain of 19.
Still plenty of time. You're right. 1:26 to go in the half. It's 14-3 Kansas State. Texas Tech now just cannot panic. Zebby Lethridge has to get a good drive, and he has to get some points on the board here and melt as much of that clock in doing so as he can.
Well, a good first down play, and you look at the timeouts remaining. In motion is Mitchell. Straight drop to Sheldon Bass. A nice catch behind him. And a first down at the 27-yard line. Clyde Johnson on the coverage, but Bass, with the ball that was thrown just behind him. Pretty nice catch.
He did, but I give Zebby a lot of credit, too, because he released the ball very, very quickly when he saw that he was in the seam and open. And then Bass going behind him to make the catch. Now they go to no huddle here.
Ball on the 26-yard line. Minute 16 and counting. Lethridge out to Mitchell. Trying to get outside, and he gets out to the 18-yard line, but inbounds and just shy of the first down, about 2 yards shy of the first down. Nice play by Mario Smith.
It was a nice play by Mario Smith to make the stop one-on-one. But again, Lethridge with that very quick release. Boy, when he sees you open, he plants and gets it there in a hurry.
Again, no huddle for the Red Raiders.
Under a minute.
Play being called at the line. Lethridge up top to the corner. And too far for Field Scoville. That is a nice matchup, isn't it? Field Scoville and Chris Canning working one-on-one with the All-American.
Neither one is a tall guy. You've got Scoville at 5'11", Canty at 5'10". They're challenging him. It's one-on-one. That ball was in the air way before he even looked. It was a timing pattern. Lethbridge just put it in the air, but it led him too much to the outside. See, Canty never did look back. Lead him a little bit inside and try to use your body, just like in basketball, to shield him out and make the catch.
3 receivers to the near side on 3rd and 2. Lethbridge with the option. Handspar didn't get there, I don't believe. May have gained a yard. Travis Oaks, among others, who met him first.
Call timeout. They need a timeout there. They've got it now. They stopped the clock with 30 seconds left. I'm sure Spike Dykes will want a good look and tell you how far are we from the first down marker. Right now it looks like a long 2 yards.
Well, it is certainly more than a yard, as that is Clyde Johnson, the free safety, down on the turf.
Boy, Clyde Johnson came in at the same time as Bill Snyder in 1988. Here he is, number 7. Had a player fall on him late right there. Clyde Johnson, he came into Kansas State in 1988. It's not that he's been here that long, but the team had lost 14 games, and he finally got frustrated and left. Went and got into the Marine Corps. In the Marines, did play some football, 7-on-7 for his battalion. Came back, wanted to get his degree, didn't want to lose the credits he had accrued. So he says, "Hey, coach, you mind if I come back and play a little football?" He did. Said it wasn't as fast as he was when he left, but he's getting it back now, and he's up and he's off the field. But quite a story. Spent time in the Marines, came back for his degree, and he's playing football again.
He's 26 years old. He's stationed in Japan, Korea, California, North Carolina, all over the place, and now back in Manhattan playing college football.
The Little Apple, Manhattan, Kansas.
There's Bob Cope.
Spike Dykes took a pretty good look at how far he had to go for the first down. Said, well, that's a long 2. I think what we're going to do is we're going to try for a field goal and get 3 more on the board. They're 1 for 3 today, field goals.
Tony Rogers on for what would be a 35-yard field goal. He hit a 53-yarder earlier in the game. And the fake inside to Sammy Morris, who has the first down, and inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. How about that?
That's a great play by Spike Dykes. You know, if on defense, anytime you're down that low, you've got to be thinking, watch the fake. Clock stops at 24 seconds. I was looking how they could pull off the fake. There was nobody in the backfield other than the holder and the kicker. They brought him off the wing. See him slide in there? Very nicely done. Sammy Morris,
the redshirt freshman out of San Antonio. Field Scoville, the holder, with a little pass. So Spike Dykes, the fake field goal. And here's Lethbridge. To the end zone and out of bounds. Donnie Hart, the intended receiver.
Pass was intended for number 82, Donnie Hart.
Could not keep his feet in bounds.
Side judge saw him the first time, said, yeah, you got a foot in. Looked at him this time and said, no, watch it. Working on Canty, gets the push, gets to the outside, pass is well thrown. Now watch this. He needs 1 foot.
Second down goal.
I'll tell you, it looks good to me.
I thought he had 2 in.
That looks good to me.
Let alone 1.
Unless his toes were on that white area. From this angle, it looks good.
And Donnie upset on the sideline. He thought he had a touchdown.
7 seconds left.
Mitchell in motion. Lethbridge over the middle, and a lot of contact, incomplete. Pass intended for Sheldon Bass.
Boy, Denmark almost knocked him down in the secondary.
He had a hold of him, didn't he?
And no call.
Sheldon Bass comes over talking down.
That stops the clock with 4 seconds, Terry. They'll have one last shot at the end zone.
Well, it's 3rd and 9. 3rd and goal at the 9. And on comes Rogers.
And I'll guarantee you this will not be a fake.
26-yard attempt. Rogers is blocked. The field goal try blocked by Kansas State. Number 83, Kevin Walker. Kevin Lockett blocks the field goal here at the end of the first half. Kansas. Kansas State leading 14-3, and the final play of the first half, spectacular one by Kevin Lockett. The blocked field goal, Timmy.
Take a look at it. Here he is right here. That's Kevin Lockett, 83. Now he's used as a safety. He'll come and he'll jump, and watch him get up. He has a 40-inch vertical jump and blocks the field goal. Now let me put that in perspective. A 40-inch vertical jump. David Thompson, one of the all-time great basketball players in ever, with a jumper, had a 42-inch vertical jump. Kevin Lockett with a 40-inch vertical jump.
Not unlike that of my partners, Tim Brant, right in that area. So it's 14-3. Jared Greaser getting us underway here in the second half. Andre Anderson about 9 yards deep in his end zone, goes to one knee, and they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. And it's amazing. You look at the first half stats, and it seems that Texas Tech has dominated this game, but they trail.
Well, they have dominated. Look at the number of plays. Look at the first downs compared to Kansas State. Look at the rushing yards. This is in 15 plays, too. 15 plays, 15 yards. Passing yards all the way down the line. Here's the big thing right here. Turnovers. 2 turnovers, 3 missed field goals. That's been the difference in this ball game.
Texas Tech getting it done on the ground as well. Byron Hanspart with 86 yards in the first half. Kansas State has yet to get it done on the ground. You mentioned the 15 yards and 15 carries. So it's 1st and 10 at the 20. Mike Lawrence stopped in the backfield. I mean, he was met by Tony Daniels as soon as he had the ball.
Tackled by number 86,
Tony Daniels having a great football game. He's been in a lot of plays, especially down deep, down in short yardage situations. He's pinching on the corners. Here he comes through freely. Watch big number 86 come through. The guy's 6'5", 250 pounds, but he runs like a tailback and he'll hit you. I mean, just downright rattle your fillings.
Now the knee injury last year, but a strong start to this year.
You know what's unbelievable? Kansas State's longest run of the day is 5 yards.
They lost 3 on the last play. Over the middle, caught at the 20-yard line. That's Kevin Lockett.
Pass was complete to number 83,
But he paid for it.
Kevin Lockett.
Robert Johnson was there and hit him hard.
Tackled by number 7, Robert Johnson.
That's a gain of about 4 yards. Johnson, a senior out of Lubbock, Texas.
Daniels goes out of the ball game. I don't know if he's a little bit shaken up.
3rd down 9, 21-yard line.
Oh, he's got a cramp. Tony Daniels has a cramp, so he's out. Keith Cumbry comes in.
The numbers on Kavanaugh. Out of the shotgun. A long time now under pressure, and he goes down at the 13-yard line.
Eric Butler with the blitz. Tried to fill the void. He did. Got just enough of Kavanaugh to take him down. Great defensive series for Texas Tech.
Butler, a backup last year to Zach Thomas, one of the great players at Texas Tech, and watch how quickly he gets there.
I'll tell you what, watch number 48 straight up the middle. The guy lost 25 pounds from last year because he said he wanted to get more agile and quicker. He has.
There's a punt to the 40. Dane Johnson looking for room and has some. A tough run up to the 49-yard line.
Dane Johnson's having a tough time holding on to the ball today. He fumbled one inside the 10-yard line. Almost fumbled this one. Bobbled it for a second.
A 47-yard punt by Jeremy Hernandez and the return of 7 yards. Watch him bobble it, though, at the beginning.
Well, first time he had the sun in his eyes. This time he's got his back to the sun, so I don't know what caused the problem. It looked like he let the ball get in too close, hit his chest plate, and bounced away, but he did make it, made a fine return on it. Great field possession for Texas Tech to start the series.
Well, a long drive that ended the first half, but they got nothing out of it as Lockett blocked the field goal attempt. Lethbridge on the roll. Incomplete. The intended receiver, Matt DeBuck. 5'8", 173 pounds out of Fort Lauderdale. One of those small guys that you hate to try to cover. Hard to stay with, but also a tough little guy.
You know, I know Spike Dykes, the head coach at Texas Tech. And he's a guy that went into that locker room and he told these guys, you know, you dominated that first half. A couple big plays and you squandered some opportunities. Now come back, be patient. We can win this football game, but we have to get after him.
141 yards in the air to this point by Lethbridge. Hanspart fumbles and gets it back at midfield.
Ball carrier was number 4, Byron Hanspart.
And fortunate that it bounced right back up into his hands.
Yeah, but you see Hanspart's going back and he's touching his chest. He's telling him the handoff was too high and hit his chest plate. Watch where he gives him the ball. Boom. Right above the Texas Tech number there. Hits his shoulder pads underneath the chest plate and bounces right off. He went back and he told Zebby Lethbridge about it too.
Well, you expect mistakes early in the season, first game of the year, but not with those two fellas. They've gone together for a while now. Letheridge and Hanspart. Looked like there was motion. Letheridge on the run, flags everywhere, and overthrows the intended receiver.
Texas Tech killing itself with mistakes, penalties, and here another penalty.
Like Stacy Mitchell may have been in motion. Legal procedure, and they'll back them up. Spike Dykes watched his team throughout the first half have a number of opportunities. The 3 field goals that were missed, one of them blocked. And that one coming at the end of the first half.
Penalty is declined. Be 4th down.
Boy, what a job he's done at Texas Tech. 3 consecutive bowl games, 5 straight seasons of no lower than 2nd place in the Southwest Conference. Good coach.
Won their last 4 games last year, 7 of their last 8. There's Chris Canty back deep to receive this punt. Jeremy Hernandez, the punter, which was a question mark going into this game. He gets the duties. Low line drive kick, and the fair catch called for at the 13-yard line by Canty. Looked like he may have had some room, but that's where Kansas State will start the next drive. And next Saturday, folks, in this area, we'll see Michigan State and Nebraska. And TCU taking on Oklahoma. Your game's next week on ABC Sports. Here's Mike Lawrence looking for room over the left side up to the 19-yard line. Pretty good gain as Dane Johnson was finally there to bring him down.
Boy, look at Colorado today. 31-6 over Washington State. Detmer having a big day. 3 touchdown passes and a touchdown run, and putting himself right back into that Heisman picture, which he was before he broke his, or he had that knee injury.
Yeah, he has to be thinking, finally, my time has come, and it's time for a good year, healthy year as well.
Right. I understand he's worked very, very hard to rehab that injury.
Gain of 5 on the first play, so it's 2nd and 5 at the 19. The pitch out to Lawrence. Finds his way up to the 29 and may have a first down. Very close to a first down.
Got a favorable mark. They'll give him the first down. They'll mark move the chains, and that's the first time we've seen signs of a strong running attack.
Hey, you mentioned the longest run from scrimmage in the first half, 5 yards for Kansas State, and they had 15 carries for 15 yards. So they open up here on this drive with a first down, and they're up to the 25-yard line.
A couple of good blocks by Brian Goolsby, the fullback, on those 2 plays.
Play action, Kavanaugh with time. Over the middle, deep to Lockett, but broken up. Corey Turner was there on the coverage.
Corey Turner could not have played that any better. That is perfect defense. Watch the isolation on this. All right, here comes Lockett, then the break. Now, when he makes the break to the inside, Turner gets to him, gets right on his hip. Look at that, the hip pocket. Now plays the ball and watch his left hand. Just bat it away. That is as well as you can play a ball as a defensive back. Boy, just a sophomore. He's only 5'9", inexperienced. Only broke up 1 pass last year, but he had a great spring, great fall, and that was a terrific play.
After that play, though, Tony Daniels, the defensive end, limped off once again to the sideline. Here's Mike Lawrence, straight ahead. May have fallen ahead for a yard or so. Eric Butler again in on the tackle.
You know, Daniels is having cramp problems in his legs, and as I look down on the field, I see Tony Darden, number 11, who's a defensive back for Texas Tech. He, too, has been reaching for his calves, trying to stretch his feet, because he's having cramps in his calves. It is a hot afternoon, and these guys have played a lot of plays.
It was 85 degrees when we started, but that was the temperature here in the stadium. On the field, it was most likely much hotter than that. Here's Kavanaugh. Throws and incomplete. Ryan Jackson, the intended receiver, and just out of his grasp. And that will bring up 4th down. Jackson, a sophomore out of Hayes, Kansas, did not have a catch in '95, but a great receiver in high school.
Well, that's a good defensive series for Texas Tech here. This ball almost picked off. Should have been caught. Ball was pretty well thrown and certainly catchable.
And whistles blow as James Garcia was set to punt away. See the penalties mounting now.
Major, the ball was snapped before they're ready for play. 5-yard penalty.
Well, tonight on ABC, part one of the television event of last season is back. The Beatles Anthology, featuring the legendary group's own story in their own words. The Beatles Anthology tonight on ABC right after Second Noah. See that last year, Timmy?
No, I never did.
Very good. Garcia with the punt.
Boy, it's a good one.
High, good kick. Dane Johnson at the 32. And he is wrapped up at the 35-yard line. A punt of 48 yards. Johnson brings it back 4 yards. A tackle made by Chris Canty. And we'll step away. And the United States Postal Service. Well, more than 42,000 on hand, and that is exactly what KSU Stadium holds. So a better than capacity crowd here for the first Big 12 game in history. 1st and 10 at the 35 for Texas Tech. Lethridge, a long count this time, and here's Byron Hanspart breaking through the right side and to the outside. A first down and more up to the 47-yard line of Kansas State, and a look at the speed outside of Byron Hanspart.
Not only the speed, but how about the balance? The guy picks up 19 yards, and almost all of those were he did it on his own, breaking tackles and moving some things. Now, if you look at the linebackers, you're looking at Oaks, number 50. He's got to come up and make this play. Well, they just crush him. Hanspart gets through there. I mean, Hanspart gets through that hole, and then once he gets to the outside, he breaks 2-3 tackles.
JT Sprouse, the man who was in for Casey Jones, who was not brought here to Manhattan because of an eligibility question. Big block by Sprouse. Here's Hanspart again finding room, and a big gain of about 8 yards inside to the 38-yard line.
Boy, they've got that thing going now. Put Hanspart on the outside. He comes up limping this time, though. Hanspart will go out, and Adrian Irvin, number 22, the junior college transfer, will come into the ball game.
And Timmy, we mentioned Casey Jones in the eligibility question. Jerome Lang, if you look at Hanspart come off, a defensive tackle, is injured right now, but there is also a story in the Houston Chronicle that there may have been a violation committed at Texas Tech because of his taking a correspondence course and them using that to gain his eligibility. So a big question mark on the defensive front, too. Adrian Irvin in for the carry. And across the 35 to the 34. So a first down again. Dimitri Denmark.
Terry, you know it's been a tumultuous year for Texas Tech. As a matter of fact, there were distractions in the offseason. The NCAA probe into the cheating allegations. The school president and the athletic director departed. The coach's triple bypass surgery. And yesterday, Spike showed us his scar from that. It's been just a tumultuous offseason. Then the Lang situation now breaking and is being reported. So it's really been crazy.
First down at the 35. Jones in motion. Up top and incomplete. Donnie Hart, the intended receiver. Denmark was there and had him covered well. 6 straight incomplete passes now for Zebby Lethridge.
Looking down on the Texas Tech sideline, and Hanspart is on the ground, and the trainers are working on his ankle. I think his tape is too tight, because it looks like they're cutting off the tape on his ankle.
Let's go quickly to Lewis Johnson for a report.
Yeah, guys, I've been watching Brian Hanspart's face, and he's not wincing in pain at all. I think he really just wants the trainers to take off that old tape, retape him again so he can get back in the game. Doesn't look any more serious than that.
All right, Lewis, 2nd and 10. The pass out to Stacy Mitchell. Overthrown just a bit. Lamar Chapman on the coverage.
Yeah, the way he came out of the ball game, it looked like, you know, he was yelling to the trainers to come over, not for injury, but hey, let's relieve some of the pressure on this tape. This ankle's taped too tightly. It's cutting off my circulation.
I think it was retaped at halftime, perhaps, because during the first half, it was fine.
Yeah, didn't have any problems. Came out. He evidently had it tightened at halftime, and it was too tight. Just pulling on the arch of his foot, perhaps.
113 yards. on the afternoon. 3rd and 10 for Texas Tech. Straight drop out to Jones, who falls down at the 33-yard line. They need to get all the way down to the 24. So they are well short.
You know, Zebby's now having problems with his calves. Look at him trying to get off the field. He's barely making it. We told you the heat would become a factor here in the second half. It obviously has. A lot of the Texas Tech players suffering from cramps in their calves.
Now, this is a fairly new turf. We were down there yesterday and it was still coming off on your shoes. I'm not sure that would have anything to do with it. I think the heat probably more of a factor. But here's Tony Rogers on for a 50-yard field goal try. Plenty of leg, but well wide.
Boy, Texas Tech now 1 for 4 in the field goal department, and it's not like they don't have the strength. 1 for 5 now after this one. I mean, they've got plenty of leg on these kicks, but the aimer's off.
So it is still 14-3, Kansas State. Doubleheader on ABC Sports. Michigan State taking on Nebraska. That's the one you will see. That's at 11 a.m. Central Time. And then TCU taking on Oklahoma at 2:30 Central Time. A lot of other games available on pay-per-view, so make sure you call your local cable operator. See which ones are available in your area next Saturday on ABC Sports. Mike Lawrence going nowhere behind the line of scrimmage, wrapped up at the 30 by Clyde Johnson. Excuse me.
Tackled by number 37, Anthony
By
Armour.
number 37, Anthony Armour, along with Robert Johnson. And Timmy, you know, you look at this game, 7:34 and counting in the third, and it's been an odd game with the explosive offenses and the missed field goals by Texas Tech.
Yeah, they've squandered all kinds of opportunities today, and there's no question but the fact they've outplayed or outdistanced them statistically anyway over Kansas State. Texas Tech hadn't been able to capitalize.
Tony Cavazos, the backup quarterback, now warming up on the sideline. Kavanaugh hit as he throws, and Lockett was out there, but pressure by Jody Brown on the blitz.
Zebby Lethbridge suffering from cramps in his calves. That's becoming a major story. We've seen Tony Daniels, we've seen Lethbridge, we've even seen Lockett go down and test their calves because of cramps, because of the heat, hard surface.
Now you would think geographically too that the kids from Texas be used to the heat, but actually they got off the plane yesterday, came here and practiced, and they really were talking about that, how hot it was here in Manhattan.
Zebby looks to be okay.
3rd and long at the 30 now as Kavanaugh checks off at the line of scrimmage. Texas Tech showing blitz, backs off. Jimmy Dean with the catch at the 47. And there may have been a face mask. I'm not sure. They didn't throw the flag.
No call, but there definitely was. Should have been a 5-yarder. Robert Johnson got a piece of the face mask, unintentional. Boy, Texas Tech was in a zone. Johnson was in position to make the play, but never saw the receiver come behind him in that area. Perfect throw, too, by Kavanaugh. Gain of 19.
19, Timmy, on the play. Jimmy Dean, the receiver, the senior out of Pompano Beach, Florida.
Watch this. Here's after the catch. Here's the swatch at the face mask.
First down and 10, Kansas State, 48-yard line.
Tough angle to see that.
Certainly not intentional. Wasn't there long.
So first down at the 48. Over the middle, Lockett. Inside the 40 to the 37-yard line. His 5th catch of the afternoon. Dwayne Price, the man he was working on.
Boy, Lockett ought to go over right now and shake hands with John Anderson. Watch this. It's almost like a pick play. Here come the 2 receivers. Now they're crisscross. Boom. There's the pick. Comes underneath. That's not a pick. That's not legal. That's just a rub off. Comes underneath. Nicely designed pattern. And the completion, Kavanaugh right on target. He's found a rhythm here all of a sudden.
Well, they move the chains again. Another first down. And now the ball resting at the 38-yard line. Kavanaugh heating up. 11 for 23 now in the afternoon. Straight drop. Flushed out, and down he goes. At the 47, Eric Butler. We've called his name often here in the second half.
Mike Lawrence was wide open. Nobody picked him up.
Quarterback sack.
Corey Turner was out there by himself. He had Lockett and Lawrence. He could only cover one, and Kavanaugh never saw him. All right, watch the right hand of your screen.
Second down, 19.
Number 20.
47-yard line.
He went out all by himself. Kavanaugh's looking to the right and gets caught from behind.
A loss of 10 on the play.
Texas Tech got away with one there. There was a breakdown defensively. Nobody even saw Lawrence.
Lawrence, the lone setback now. Kavanaugh needs a timeout. He didn't like what he saw on the other side.
He didn't like what he saw. He was going to change the play, started to audibilize, and looked up, and there was 3 on the play clock. He says, I got to get a timeout or there's going to be a delay of game.
Just in time. Well, Monday night, the biggest names in the history of professional football share their memories with us in a 1-hour primetime special. Join us for ABC's Monday Night Football Mania. Should be a great show. And the Bears taking on Troy Aikman and the Dallas Cowboys. I've been waiting for this one for a while in Chicago. The season premiere of ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. It's Monday night here on ABC Sports.
Dave Wannstedt gets a shot at his old team. Dallas had a horrendous preseason.
They sure did.
And a lot of people think, hey, Cowboys might go 1-5 or something like that to start the season. I don't know if that'll be the case. Emmitt Smith comes back Monday night.
Go ahead and count on that.
He won't be 100%, but I guarantee you he'll cause some damage and definitely get their attention just being in the game.
Bears with a little bit of an improved defense this year. Well, a lot of injuries this afternoon in terms of the heat and cramps and whatnot. Let's go down to Lewis Johnson real quick and check in. Lewis.
All right, Terry, thanks. Listen, Brian Hanspard is still wincing down here. He is trying to shuffle back and forth, but I'm not so sure that right ankle is completely okay. He's trying to get it together. Zevi Lethbridge, just a simple cramp, as you mentioned earlier with the heat. But Cody Patton, this is unfortunate. He has a fractured fibula, so who knows how long he'll be out. Back to you guys.
All right, Lewis. Cody Patton, the nose tackle for Texas Tech.
Oh, Weiner moved. Todd Weiner, the left tackle, moved too early. So they'll move Kansas State back.
That ball. False start on the offense. Still second down.
Terry, you know, the heat not only causes injuries, not only causes cramping, but a lot of times the heat gets to you where you're not thinking as sharply as you normally do. There's some mental mistakes being made here. I mean, Kansas State had a nice drive going. All of a sudden, Todd Weiner, who knows better, just jumps out of his position and moves. So they move him back. Now it's second down and forever.
2nd and 24 now at the 48-yard line of Kansas State. That's the 4th penalty for 30 yards for the Wildcats. Kavanaugh under pressure on the run, out of bounds. Lockett again, the intended receiver.
Incomplete.
Monte
Fitting
Rager
on the play was number 3, Darwin
with the
Brown.
pressure that time in the
Number
backfield.
30, Jody Brown.
You know, Timmy, we've talked about the Big 12, and I know how you feel about it and how what a conference it's going to be. But you know, you look at that schedule. Well, when you're Spike Dykes or Bill Snyder, that is a daunting task every week.
How about Nebraska now? Nebraska trying to three-peat his national championship, net champions. Now they have to play a championship game.
That's
you
right.
remember what happened to Alabama in 1994? They went through 11-0, played Florida in the championship game, lost by a point. The championship is now out the window.
Third and 24 for Kavanaugh. Throwing deep over the middle to Jimmy Dean and through his hands. Covered by 3 men. Corey Turner was there. Dane Johnson was there. But that ball was right on the money.
Jimmy Dean, incomplete.
Would have been a tough catch with all the hands, though.
Johnson.
Good coverage inside now, but he still should have made the catch. It came through untouched. You know, Jimmy Dean only had 8 receptions last year as a 4th receiver, but he's got that sprinter speed that takes the pressure off Lockett, but he's got to hold on when he has an opportunity like this. If he's going to be a big play guy, I don't care if there are 3 or 4 white jerseys around him. If the ball gets through and gets to your hands, you got to make the catch.
Garcia with a high punt. The fair catch called for by Johnson at the 12-yard line. And so the Red Raiders will take over at their own 12 with 4:50 left here in the third. We'll take you up to John Saunders in New York. John?
Terry, it's time for the Burger King College Football Play of the Day. We go to the Michigan-Illinois game. Scott Dreisbach back to pass. Everyone covered, so he busts it up the middle, and then beats the secondary. Goodfoot speed 72 yards on the touchdown run. Michigan takes the lead. Right now it's just a 2-point lead in a close one in the Big Ten. That's the Burger King play of the day. Terry.
All right, John, so the Big Ten opening day, a tough one there. Michigan with the 2-point lead, and on first down, Zebby Lethridge keeps it.
Tackled by number 50, Travis Oates.
It's an important drive for Texas Tech. Time now becoming a factor with 4:30 left in the third quarter. They don't want to go down into the last period, last 15, down by 11. They want to get in this thing right now. Let's make a ball game of it.
4:21 and counting here in the third. Texas Tech very quickly to the line. 2nd and 5, Lethridge on the roll. Stops, plants, and incomplete. Fields Scoville, the intended receiver. He wanted a flag.
Again, a good no call. They're letting them play. They're allowing a lot of contact. It is incidental contact. It's the way defense should be played. He's got as much right to the ball as the offensive guy.
But Timmy, we are celebrating obviously the inaugural game of the Big 12, and we're very pleased to have Steve Hatchell, the commissioner of the Big 12, with us right now. First of all, congratulations on just getting this thing done. This is tremendous.
Well, it's been the help of an awful lot of people, Terry. This conference is made up of 12 wonderful groups of people, and they're the ones that deserve all the credit for making this work.
Steve, as an old Southwest Conference guy and spent time in the Big 8,
At times you must feel like a marriage counselor trying to get these two together and solve some of the problems that came up bringing two conferences like that together.
Well, and for me it's even better because I have a chance to work with friends, and for me this is coming home and to be with a lot of friends. These people have worked so hard to make this go, and if the public, the media, everybody had a chance to sit in our meetings and see what happens, they'd have a chance to say these people are really together. They've got big issues, they've settled them, they've moved ahead. It's been a very tough decisions. A lot of things had to happen, and along the way, there's been changes in intercollegiate athletics.
Yeah, and
so
I'm sure there was some feelings bruised along the way too. I mean, you talk to the folks at the Big 8, and they say, "Wow, the office is in Dallas instead of where they were before," and the non-qualifier thing, and overruling the coaches on the playoff and the presidents and that kind of thing. And as a mediator, at times that must be tough.
It's been tough, but again, I've got the resources and the opportunity to work with some great people to say, we've made the decision, we've taken a vote, now let's move on. And that's a credit to just, again, just special people.
I agree. That's a credit to everybody, and it's come out now by far the best conference, when you look at the power rankings. And look at this.
Well, you look at the upcoming games that are confirmed on ABC. Now, this is not the complete schedule of Big 12 games and games that are on, but there will be many more. But some great matchups here when you look up and down the line.
Just terrific. And I think if you look at our conference from top to bottom, 1 through 12, with 7 that were in the top 25 last year, the two-time defending national champion Nebraska Cornhuskers, which in this day and time is so hard to do. What a credit to their program. We're excited just to get this season going.
Well, and December 7th, the Dr. Pepper Big 12 championship game on ABC, and that's something that maybe some of the coaches don't love because that's another opportunity for a loss, but I think tremendous
it
for the
means
fans.
a lot to our conference.
Absolutely.
And, we're excited to have it here on ABC as well.
Steve, thanks an awful lot for coming by.
Thank you both. Good to see you.
Southwest Conference Big 8, biggest merger since Cap City and Disney.
Steve, thank you. Steve Hatchell, the commissioner of the Big 12 Conference. And not only looking forward to a great year, but I think long term. This is, Timmy, not to overstate it, but in terms of college football, this is certainly an historic day when you look at the lineup of Big 12 teams and the schedule this year.
A lot of people, Terry, over the years have talked about super conferences. The SEC was first to go to 12, which allowed them to have a championship game, and a lot of other teams have followed. And of course, now you have a lot of those super conferences, and it's amazing.
Now Kavanaugh under pressure and throws it away, so it brings up a 3rd down and 7 on the 43-yard line. 3:04 remaining here in the third, and neither team able to put any points on the board here in the second half. And by the way, speaking of all the attention that this game has gotten, the attendance 43,143, the 6th highest in the stadium, ASU Stadium history, and the capacity is listed at 42,000. 3rd and 7, Kavanaugh over the middle, throws behind Anderson, his intended receiver. And he was about 2 yards short of a 1st down where he would have caught that ball.
Kansas State will have to give it up again. Still, as much offense as we've seen out of Texas Tech, they can't get the points on the board.
In punt formation for Kansas State, number 16, James Garcia.
Super conferences. I think the WAC
Deep is number 13.
takes in 5 time zones.
16 teams, right, in the WAC, and all spread out all over the place. Numbers on Garcia.
Oh, look at this punt.
DeBuck back, watches it sail into the end zone. What a punt by Garcia of 57 yards. So the average goes up. I know it must surprise you, though. We talked throughout in the pregame about the explosive offenses. You know, the one thing we expected was big plays, especially you look at the aggressive risk type defense of Kansas State, and it's 14-3.
High risk, high reward defense, and you would think that it would give up some points. Obviously, #1 defense in the country last year statistically, but yeah, you would think both of these teams would score more. We certainly expected a high scoring game. Texas Tech has just killed itself.
Yeah.
1 out of 5 in field goals and a couple penalties and turn the ball over.
Zebby Lethridge is in at quarterback. He had cramps a while ago, and the give to Sammy Morris, the fullback, straight ahead, met right at the line by Jerome Evans. Jerome Evans, number 98, goes 305 pounds at least. Look at what Lethridge and Kavanaugh have done. Very similar, actually. 168 yards in the air by Kavanaugh, the 1 touchdown.
And we told you that Lethridge doesn't make many errors. As a matter of fact, he went 211 straight passes at one point without an interception.
Gain of 1 on the last play. The give to Hanspard. Net at the line of scrimmage as well. So the Kansas State defense getting stingy.
Tackled by number 96, Lance Grace.
Evans again in on the play,
Evans.
as well as Lance Grace, a redshirt freshman out of Denver. Jerome Evans, though, Timmy, a guy who is 6'6". He's listed at 305 out of Waco, Texas, but played at Hutchinson Community College along with Thad Swazer, who lines up right next to him.
And he's quick. He ran an 11.3 in high school. It's a guy that's 300 pounds.
3rd and 10, the crowd a little bit noisier. Incomplete, almost intercepted.
Now,
Chris Canny was there.
That was definitely pass interference. It should have been called.
Field Scoville, the intended receiver.
He's furious too because Field Scoville feels like they've been getting away with too much contact. If you watch him this time, he is hit in the head way before the ball gets there. Now Canny place him inside out, and now watch this. Here comes the safety, and watch and tell me if there's any contact. All right, Canny comes up, boom, he's all over his head before the ball ever gets there. He is going for the pick, but you cannot go through the receiver to get it before the ball is there.
Chris Canny, the All-American, had 8 interceptions a year ago, and they've actually thrown to his area a number of times today. Zebby Lethridge now 1 of his last 11 passes. Punt is off. They came awfully close to getting to him. Canny at his own 22. Dances back to the 30, across to the 31-yard line. A punt of 59 yards and a return of 9. And let's take you down to Lewis Johnson. Lewis?
Hey, guys, thanks a lot. You know, you talked about these huge crowds, over 43,000 here today. We have been seeing this, or KSU has been seeing this in the 90s, and because of that, there have been a lot of stadium improvements, and one of the biggest this year is that big old Jumbotron behind me. But you know who gets the biggest enjoyment out of that? It has been the players. I've been watching them, and they've been checking themselves out all game, so it's been a great improvement for the stadium.
Lewis, you're right. The players love it, but I have to tell you, the officials don't. They keep playing replays up there, and the crowd boos them with those controversial calls or close calls.
But the players never change. Always looking for their face on TV. So it's 1st and 10 at the 31. Kavanaugh, little swing pass out to Lawrence. It's away from one tackler, but down at the 35-yard line, Anthony Armour made the stop. Armour, mentioned a Butkus candidate, his 3rd position since coming to Texas Tech.
Yeah, watch this. Here's Armour. Now he's played outside linebacker, inside linebacker, defensive end, fills the gaps, and he runs to the football. That's an outstanding play, and the reason is because Robert Johnson, number 7, broke down, forced him back in, and when he did, pursuit from Armour just took him down. I'm telling you, the guy can run dawn to dusk. He started as a sophomore, sat out 94 with a knee injury, then moved to defensive end, but now he's in a position on the open side at linebacker that he loves. Here he is again.
Kavanaugh goes down.
Look at him, armor all over. Tell me that guy cannot run.
And you talk about anticipation. He was there as soon as Kavanaugh took his first step backwards.
He's the gap filler. That's what they call him. They put him on that open side specifically for that reason.
It brings up 3rd and 12. The final seconds of the 3rd quarter ticking away. And an uneventful 3rd quarter in terms of the scoreboard. Texas Tech again with opportunities, but cannot connect on the field goals. And so a defensive struggle. And we're back with more between Texas Tech and Kansas State after this message and a word from our ABC stations. In the booth.
I think you got to loosen up. I saw you the other day. You made Kirby Puckett do it. You wouldn't do it.
You will never catch me doing the Macarena. That's a promise to you, Tim. Opening play of the 4th quarter, 14-3 Kansas State. Kavanaugh to throw. And loads of time. The intended receiver was Anderson, and out of bounds. Dane Johnson with the pick, but he was out of bounds. And let's go very quickly up to John Saunders in New York.
All right, Terry, thanks a lot. Florida and the Gators off to the races early in this one. 4th and 1 on their opening drive. Terry Jackson bounces off a couple of tackles, still slips across for the touchdown. The Gators in front early, 7-0. Terry.
All right, John, a scene I think we'll see often this year.
Yeah, that game right there could get to be like a track meet.
On 4th and 12, Garcia in the punt. And this is another beauty. Johnson back to his own 25. Still on his feet. And lost a couple of yards. Back to the 22-yard line. A punt of 47 yards, and he lost a couple trying to return it. Dimitri Denmark on the tackle. Will step away and be back. It's 14-3 Kansas State. Kansas State leading Texas Tech. Zebi Lethridge taking over on 1st down. Nowhere to go, and now the ball on the turf. And it goes out at the 7-yard line. And there was no receiver open anywhere near. Clyde Johnson was there.
I'll tell you this, Terry. If Texas Tech is going to win this ball game, they've got to make some serious changes. Lethridge in the first half, 11 of 20. In the second half, he's just 1 for 8. That time, he never even got the ball off, but he did save a turnover. Now, here the ball is loose. Watch his right hand knock it out of bounds right there to prevent the turnover. Very smart play by Zebi Lethridge and avoiding what could have been a catastrophic situation.
But a loss of 16. They do retain possession. You're right. Now 2nd and 26. They're backed up all the way to the 8-yard line.
Had they turned it over there, it was Katie bar the door.
The option out to Hanspart. No room. Out to the 11-yard line. Deshaun Fogel along with Travis Oakes there to make the stop.
Colorado continues to run it up in Washington State. You know what we have not seen in this ball game yet? There's the option. We have not seen the option reverse.
Yeah, you were calling for it near the end of the first half, and we haven't seen that at all.
It's a great play. They worked on it in practice yesterday again. We saw them use it last year with great success.
Especially when you have a Byron Hanspart that everybody keys on, and you know the ball is going to him to come back the opposite way. 3rd and 24. Over the middle, complete to Stacy Mitchell. Trying to get away and up to the 27-yard line, but he needed to get up to the 34, almost the 35.
Zebi Lethridge, with that ability to get onto the corner and buy time, is what made that completion. He gets more time before he releases the ball than any quarterback that's a straight drop back or out of the shotgun. Now you watch this. Look, 1,003, 1,004, 1,005. He's buying time, still looking for receivers. Now here's number 6 at the bottom of your screen. He's just going to free up, go the other way. Zebby sees him. Here's the completion. Great broken pattern, adjusting your pattern for the first down, or to get back to the original line of scrimmage. They still have to punt, but a big pickup.
And the coverage men couldn't stop. The crown on the field, and they're going downhill. Oh, stopping this over Hernandez's head and into the end zone. And Kansas State has it for a touchdown. Mario Smith with the recovery in the end zone. What did you say about Katie a moment ago?
Bar the door. The lynch mob defense has taken over. Texas Tech, another mistake. No chance here. Brad Spinks, the long snapper, put it high. They had no chance to get it. Jeremy Hernandez looked at it, sail over his head, touchdown, Kansas State.
And the extra point is up, and it is good. And it is 21-3, Kansas State. You mentioned Spinks, the long snapper. He's been so for 4 years. Very uncharacteristic of him. Bill Snyder's club up now, 21-3. Kansas State touchdown a moment ago, putting them up 21-3, and they'll bring it out to the 20.
You know, that last touchdown should never have occurred. Brad Spinks, the long snapper, right here. There is a new rule this year. You cannot hit that center for a second. You got to let 1 second pass before there's contact. He should not be worrying about that. His only job is to get that ball right there to Hernandez. Instead, he's concerned about getting into the block after the snap. Lets it go high. Hernandez never has a chance. With that new rule where there's not contact on the center, on that snapper, they should just be able to get it back there without worrying about getting hit or worrying about getting hurt or anything. That should not take place anymore.
He's been solid for 4 years, too. He's been the deep snapper. But now Texas Tech, 6 fumbles on the afternoon, 3 lost. Adrian Irvin in for Byron Hanspart up to the 30-yard line. Let's check in with John Saunders to get an update on the Michigan-Illinois game. John?
It was a 2-point game, 10-8 in fact, until Scott Dreisbach throws 10 yards to Russell Shaw. Dreisbach also ran one in for 72 yards, as you know. And Michigan starting to pull away, although plenty of time left, and it's 17-8. Terry.
All right, John, thank you. Here it is 21-3. But Texas Tech trying to get back in it here. Zebby Lethridge with room up the middle. Down at the 40-yard line. So on a 2nd and 1 play, Lethridge with plenty to get the first down.
Kansas State with a pretty good streak going here. 6 straight wins on opening day, going for 7. Texas Tech, well, Texas Tech is struggling. And Texas Tech trying to win a game on the road, a game they really thought they had to have. They had to steal one here early from Kansas State.
Number 1 a road opener since 1977. And that pass underthrown.
You know, but last year they played Penn State on the road, and they gave Penn State all they could handle. Nittany Lions had to kick a field goal with 4 seconds left to win it by a point.
Yeah, 24-23. Final in that one. Doesn't get any easier either.
No, it really doesn't.
Look at their schedule. The 6th best. That's in the country, folks. Even though you have Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa State, it's not the Big 12. That's the country.
No, that's right. And you know, Texas Tech plays 6 bowl teams, and in most conference games, 5 against teams that were in the top 15 last year.
Lethridge scrambling just shy of the first down. He's up to about the 48-yard line and run out of bounds by Mario Smith.
You know, I said Texas Tech plays 5 games that were in the top 15 last year. Last year, they only played 3 and lost 2 of those. Lethridge feels the pressure again. He's got great instincts, and look at his mobility. You know, when we mentioned him earlier about being a guy like Randall Cunningham, he's explosive. Now, the knock on Lethridge has been that he has been erratic, but the coaches tell us he's been much more consistent over the last half of last season and in camp.
Well, he doesn't make many mistakes. That's the key. The give to Irvin, fights his way maybe for a yard, doesn't get to the 50-yard line. Deshaun Fogel was there to stop him.
Now we're talking about, erratic. We're not so much mistakes as much as, his ability to get on streaks and then get cold. For instance, he had 11 completions in the first half. He came out, he started out 1 for 8, and I think right now he's 2 for 11.
Well, and Texas Tech has certainly struggled trying to get points on the board. They've moved the ball. Kansas State takes a timeout, and so will we. Remaining in this one, the first Big 12 matchup ever. And straight ahead, it appears to have the first down. Zebi Lethridge just needed about a half yard or so.
Got a good mark. He did get enough for the first, so they'll move the chains. And once again, Texas Tech in Kansas State territory. But it really has not been able to capitalize all day.
First down at 10, 49-yard line.
Lethridge in the top 5 in 5 different passing categories in Texas Tech history, of the best sophomore season of anyone ever for the Red Raiders last year. This time going up top, Sheldon Bass, and double covered. Incomplete, but fortunate that that one wasn't picked off.
Dangerous pass. Just 2 completions this half. Zebi's got to find some type of rhythm. If that's not even a good decision, he's double covered. Now watch this. As the Bass goes down the sidelines, he gets inside coverage, outside coverage. Watch this. The ball comes. It's almost intercepted. Now here comes the safety. The ball goes up. Now if you watch Chapman go down, it lands on his chest. Or right next to him anyway. I thought he was going to pick that thing off.
Well, and Bass made a pretty good play, actually coming back and creating some contact so that Chapman couldn't pick it off. 2nd and 10. Lethridge under pressure now. Out to Irvin. And up to the 44-yard line. And they're about 5 yards shy of a first down. But Andrew Timmons was all over Zebi Lethridge that time.
Kansas State showing tremendous conditioning. Every play seems to run about 40 yards because he's rolling out. So if you're on the defense, you're chasing him about 45 yards.
And maybe answering some of those questions. 3 starters gone from that front line, and they've done a heck of a job. 3rd and 6, out to Irvin, who can't turn the corner. Stopped at the 42-yard line and knocked out of bounds by Clyde Johnson and Lamar Chapman.
Dangerous but spectacular play by Lethridge that time. He was wrapped up and going down when he finally got the pitch out. Now watch this. He's got to read the end, cuts inside. He's on the way down from the backside tackle and forces it out to the outside. Irvin just couldn't get around the corner. Still made positive yards, though, rather than going out and going down where Lethridge would have.
And Irvin's been in throughout this entire drive for Byron Hanspard, who's had trouble with that ankle. And at first we thought it was just the taping job on the ankle. Perhaps it's more. Lethridge has the first down inside the 40, about at the 38-yard line. Or at least it appears that he has the first down. Should have enough.
That was almost predetermined. He never really looked back at Sammy Morris much. Just made a quick fake. It's awfully close. Travis Oaks made the tackle. Lethridge has to start thinking about the clock now, too. Down 21-3. They've got 9:24 left. So they move the chains, give him the first, and now he's got to really start to pick things up a little bit.
Yeah, 9:22 left and counting for Spike Dykes to get his club back in this one. They've had their chances throughout the entire afternoon. Up the far sideline and incomplete. Bass again wants the flag. We've seen it all afternoon long. Receivers wanting the flag and the interference. Dimitri Denmark on the coverage, and they're just not getting it.
Still trying to go away from Canny, still trying to go man coverage and go long. They had twin receivers one side, and then they sent to the single to receiver, and that's where they were looking all the way, challenging that side.
Lethridge now 14 for 33, 164 yards in the air. Here's Irvin with a lot of room, but the hole closes quickly. The 32, Travis Oaks caught him up. He tripped him right about at the 32. Oaks, we've called his name throughout the day. Only a sophomore. Overland Park, Kansas.
He's tired now, too. He's sucking wind right now, but that was a terrific play. He actually got caught inside, had to dive to get outside and make that tackle, and was dragged a couple yards. But first team All-American Defensive Freshman of the Year in the Big 8. Butkus Award candidate. 2 Butkus Award candidates in this one game.
No longer the other Oaks.
No, that's right. As a matter of fact, they say he's the glue to the defense. Everything revolves around how he plays.
Only a sophomore. 3rd and 4. Lethridge out to Irvin. Leaps to try to get the first down, but he's well short, up to the 30-yard line.
Ball carrier number 22, Adrian Irvin.
He got down to the 30, and he's about a yard and a half short. He went in the air, though. He's airborne here.
Watch Irvin. Now, there's a guy that's 204 pounds. Good form, though.
You think so?
And not much of a splash.
9'6", 9'7". Brings up 4th and more than a yard, about a yard and a half. Texas Tech obviously needs to go for it here. Irvin along with the 2 fullbacks, Morris and Jones in the backfield. It's Irvin straight ahead, and he has the first down and more.
Oh, he almost busted that thing.
One more man to beat. You're right.
You're in that short yardage when the defensive backs and linebackers are up close and cheating up to the defensive line.
First and 10, Lethridge throwing over the middle and dropped.
This is a good drive, Terry. They've worked hard. They've converted 4th down 3 different times now to get the first and move the chains. The thing is, they're eating up a lot of clock. They're already down to 7 minutes and 12 seconds.
Donnie Hart dropped that last pass over the middle. And Spike's run out of time here. 7:12 left in this game. And the lights are on here at KSU Stadium.
Lights are on, and it seems to be getting a little bit cooler. Maybe a front's coming through as they look down at the flag, and it's waving pretty well now.
Irvin, the lone setback on 2nd and 10. The sidelines and incomplete, broken up by Denmark. Again, Sheldon Bass, the intended receiver, but good coverage and a nice play by Dimitri Denmark, the junior out of Winter Haven, Florida.
Getting good support out of the young guys today, the guys that have stepped up in place for quarterback Joe Gordon, who broke his leg in August. Watch this. This is great coverage. Lethridge throws it so the receiver has to pump and come back for the ball. But he's all over it. That's terrific coverage by Denmark. And if those guys can do that and can hold things out until Joe Gordon gets back, he'll be back. The All-American cornerback will be back for the Nebraska game. There's Joe right there. Broke his leg August 2nd on a passing drill.
17th play of the drive right here, and a completed pass to Field Scoble. And a first down inside the 15 at the 14-yard line. But Tim, time becoming a major factor, and now the 18th play of the drive coming up. They can't afford to take this much time on their drive.
No, you're right. That does stop the clock with 7 minutes left. But watch the way Scoble walks this sideline. He knows all day he's been around that sideline. A couple times they've called him out. But for the most part, he's got a great sense of where his boundary is and keeps his feet in. He's a very smart, well-disciplined receiver.
Had 16 catches last year for 303 yards and a touchdown. One of the prime targets for Zebby Lethridge this year. Play action on the roll. Lethridge. We're finding a man. It's Irvin, and just outside of his reach. He was wide open.
Oh, there's no question he was open. Somehow Mario Smith got there late, and I don't know if it was his man or if anybody picked him up, but somehow he found himself in the back of the end zone. It's because Lethridge rolled all the way to the left, and then when he came back, it looked like he broke his pattern, went to the corner, was alone, and the ball was overthrown. But look at this. There's nobody even in the picture. Boy, another missed opportunity. It was at this point right here Zebby Lethbridge started pounding his helmet, knowing that they had a touchdown.
So it brings up 2nd and 10 after the missed opportunity. Straight drop this time. To the end zone and almost picked off. It should have been. Lamar Chapman had it hit right between the numbers. We saw Mario Smith with a similar play earlier in the game, and now Lamar Chapman would love to get this one back.
Boy, Chapman, they picked on him all day. The freshman has responded fairly well. Here he's got good coverage. Again, there's hands everywhere, using those hands. But here's the ball, here's the pick, and I don't know how he missed it.
14-yard line.
How frustrating is that?
I think he looked up the sidelines and saw it was wide open and started reading the headlines before the ball was in his hands.
Looking at 6 before he had the ball. He comes off the field now on 3rd and 10.
They don't have enough guys on the field. Now they have too many guys on the field, I think.
Cross
Touchdown.
to Sammy Morris, a touchdown. But there is a flag on the play, and it's all the way on the other side of the field at the 14-yard line.
Now there's only 11 blue jerseys on the field now, but Chapman had run off the field. He was over with the coaches, and then he came back. That's got to be all sides if nothing else.
Against the defense, the penalty is declined, touchdown.
Yeah, illegal substitution is what they call it, and it will stand as a touchdown.
You could have taken your pick on what that was.
Whatever you want. But Sammy Morris with the touchdown catch, the redshirt freshman out of San Antonio. And so it's 21-9 with the extra point forthcoming.
Chapman ran all the way over to the coaches, and they were shoving him back on the field, and he ran back in the flag drop.
So now do they go for 2 here? Looks like Lethbridge is on the field. It's 21.
Yeah, you know, I think you go for 2 all the way out now. You're down 21-9. You need every point you can get.
And remember, there is overtime now in college football, so it will not end at a time. To the end zone and inside the end line.
Boy, he threaded the needle that time between Johnson and Smith.
The touchdown drive by Texas Tech, making it 21-11 now. They trail by 10, but it took 6 minutes and 12 seconds off the clock as you look at Andre Anderson back deep to receive the kick for Kansas State. So it took a lot of time off the clock. 20 plays going 80 yards.
Down by 10, so they only need a touchdown, 2-point conversion, and field goal. A lot to ask. I think it's too early for the onside kick, but in a Spike, he's a gambler. Good decision.
Jimmy Dean and his own 5. And knocked to the ground right at the 20-yard line. And that's where they'll start. Well, tomorrow, don't miss the final round of the Greater Milwaukee Open, presented by Miller Lite. Jesper Parnevik at 19 under. He is the leader at this point. And, of course, his professional debut, Tiger Woods, playing in Milwaukee, and he is at 4 under par, 15 shots off the lead. Our coverage begins at 3 Central here on ABC Sports.
How about Tiger Woods, 20 years old. He does the 3 amateur titles, goes pro, and in his very first pro tournament, makes the cut, goes 67, 69, and then he's 4 under par.
73 today, but he's 4 under par. And
impressive.
Yep. The first at 10, Kansas State now keeping it on the ground, but the pitch away from Lawrence, and very fortunate to have it go out of bounds.
Oh my.
What a dangerous pitch that was.
I'm going to tell you something. Fatigue becoming a factor all over this field. This is sloppy play here, and it's a bad pitch. Lawrence can't get to it. This is an accident by kicking it out of bounds, but it's probably not a bad thing at that point because a lot of white jerseys were flying around and could pick that ball up.
And now you're backed up, Tim, to the 8-yard line, and it's 2nd and 18. So if you want to take a shot at the first down in the next couple of plays, you may have to throw the ball, and that's a dangerous proposition this deep in your territory too.
But you don't want to play passive defense here. You want to stay aggressive. You don't go to a prevent even though they have that far to go for the first.
Kavanaugh just went wide right. They hike it right back to Lawrence. The snap straight to Lawrence, and he goes out to the 16-yard line. And that's a play that you don't see very often.
It's like the old single wing. They used to do that a lot. But again, he ran away from where the blitz looked like it was coming, tried to get to the corner quickly, so it was a good call for that particular situation. But still, it's 3rd and almost 15 yards for the first. Now watch this. straight back to Lawrence. All the pressure's coming backside. Now stop it right there, and you think, holy cow, the field is opened up here. But he finally makes the outside cut and gets caught from behind.
Kavanaugh wasn't even in your picture when they lined up.
Looked like for a minute he'd get that first.
3rd and 14 now, and out of the shotgun. Looking to run all the way. Kavanaugh dumped in the backfield at the 14-yard line.
Now, you know what happens here. Kansas State has to punt. They're deep in their own territory. Texas Tech is going to get good field position, and the clock's down to 5.5 minutes. There's still plenty of time left here.
Bill Snyder talking to his defense. Deshaun Fogel, the linebacker there, having a conversation with him. But James Garcia on the punt. He's standing at his own goal line.
Using as much time off the clock as they can here. Play clock down to 10.
Setting up the return.
Oh, what a kick.
And another beauty. All the way back to the 28 is Johnson. Straight ahead to the 40-yard line. A punt of 57 yards. Again, he had a 57-yarder earlier in the second half. Return of 12. And here are the overtime rules this year in college football. No sudden death. Teams get equal possession. And the offense beginning at their opponent's 25-yard line. And you're on offense till you score, lose the ball, or lose it on downs.
Great rule. Should have been in a long time ago, although I think we're a little premature here, a little wishful thinking. 10 points with 4:40 to go. But I'll tell you what, the game has changed a little bit here dramatically.
And all of that set up by a coin flip after regulation has ended. Stacy Mitchell can't hang on. Clyde Johnson on the coverage, but he had it in his hands.
Defending on the play was number 7, Clyde Johnson.
So 4:34 left, and it brings up a 2nd down and 10. Total yards, Texas Tech way out in front.
Boy, that when you look at the scoreboard and it says 21-11 Kansas State, and you look at those figures, you say, how does it happen? Well, that's how right there, plus the fact they've missed 4 field goals.
Because 2 of the 3 turnovers didn't come back to haunt them. Lethbridge out to Mitchell, and this one's underthrown.
Pass was intended for number 6, Stacy Mitchell, incomplete.
So it brings up 3rd and 10. The one turnover that was very critical, the bad snap on the punt and the touchdown recovered by Mario Smith. Zebby Lethbridge, not a day statistically that he would like to remember. 16 out of 41.
Not bad in the first half, but second half, he hadn't been able to hit the ocean.
3 receivers to the near side. Lethbridge looking to run all the way, and he's got room. Inside the 40 and out of bounds at the 39-yard line. That's all he thought about. He was going to run the entire time.
Uh-oh, he better be careful here. He doesn't want to get thrown out of the ball game. He hit an injured player, accidentally ran out of bounds and hit the guy on crutches. And the guy took the crutches and hit him. Zebby wanted to go back and get him.
Well, you use what you have, you know.
You know who that is? That's Gramatica, the kicker. Martin Gramatica, the kicker who injured his leg this past week. He thinks it's funny. Now watch this. Zebby runs out of bounds, actually gets a push from behind, so he couldn't stop. Well, maybe he could. Here he hits Gramatica. All right, watch Gramatica. Boom, don't hit me.
Betsy kicker. Pass intended for Donnie Hart and incomplete. And again, a lot of contact. I'll tell you what, Jimmy, in the secondary of this game, they have let a lot of contact go. I know some is incidental, but a lot of the use of the hands, and they have not called it.
Terry, I hope they continue that throughout the year. I hope they let them play, because the way the offenses have gone with the spread attacks and the passing offenses and all the points that were scored in this past year, and we're seeing it in some games here again today across the country. You know, you got to get the defense back in this thing. Every rule change has been to benefit the offense. You squeeze the hash marks in, you give the receivers more room. You can't let the defenders get on them too much. You got to let them play. You got to get the defense back into the game of football.
Bob Cope, the defensive coordinator for Kansas State, as the time clock running out, the play clock,
Timeout, Texas Tech.
and just inside of that. Zebi Lethridge gets a timeout. They'll have 2nd and 10 when we come back. Beating up on Purdue. They take on #1 Nebraska next week at 11 a.m. Central Time. You will see that one. And then at 2:30 Central Time, TCU taking on Oklahoma. Other games available on pay-per-view. So check with your local cable operator for those next Saturday on ABC Sports. 2nd and 10 at the 39. Scoville in motion to the near side. Lethridge now scrambling. And down he goes at the 46. Good coverage downfield. On his feet. 3rd and 17. Lethridge rolling out. Tipped and incomplete. Broken up. I believe it was Travis Oaks who got a hand on that.
They've got one more shot to get the first. And I'd go right after Canty right now. I'd throw at Canty. Canty's having cramps. Matter of fact, he may even come out. Down to one play. 4th down and forever.
4th and 17. And incomplete, broken up, but here comes a flag. Clyde Johnson was there. Matt DeBuck, the intended receiver, and he came right over his back.
Clyde Johnson, the senior, got there just a little bit too early.
Pass interference. Gets the defense. Automatic first down.
With the automatic first down.
Boy, what a break for Texas Tech.
Huge. It was 4th and 17, and even with the completion, if that ball was complete, most likely they would not have had the first down.
There's no question the contact was made before the ball ever got there, so it's a good call. They move at 15, they move the chains, they give them a first. Now they're inside the 35.
First down at the 33. Lethridge looking to run and now loses the ball, but Texas Tech gets it back. Wow.
This game has had everything.
Lynn Scherler, the right tackle from Sheridan Lake, Colorado, got the fumble back. You know, you look at who has had the ball, and we talked about how Texas Tech statistically has dominated, and Kansas State in this quarter has only had the ball for 2 minutes and 20 seconds, almost 9 minutes in the hands of Texas Tech. 2nd and 14. Pump fake, and now tripping up at the 31-yard line. I don't think there was any contact. He just tripped. Zebi Lethridge.
You know what else is amazing about that statistic that tells the tale of this game is the fact that offensively they have not had the ball much, yet they still scored a touchdown because of the turnover by Texas Tech.
Well,
Tech.
Well, he almost lost the ball again, Tim. And that's why he eventually fell down, I think, trying to gain control of the football.
He's one of the only 2 guys that's allowed to have a towel, too, to clean his hands and dry them off.
New rules in college football. 3rd and 8 under pressure and batted into the hands of an offensive lineman. Now the flag comes down. That's Chris Whitney, who ended up with the football, and he had to be the most surprised person on Wagner Field.
Pass was completed to number 66, Chris Whitney.
Niall Wyron was the man who had Zebi Lethridge in his grasp.
You know, forget the penalty, forget anything that's occurred. The lineman shouldn't have caught it, although that ball was touched. But the bottom line is he still shouldn't have caught it, because if it was an incompleted pass, they'd be back inside the 35. This way, he's back at the 38.
Well, they lose yardage, you're right, in terms of catching the football.
Well, see, the penalty, it doesn't make any difference whether they pick it up or not. It doesn't make any difference because he caught the ball.
He lost yardage.
And the ball was all the way back to the 38.
Right.
If he just lets it hit, now the ball's back up at the 33.
As it is, it's resting on the 38, and it's 4th and 15. Take a look.
We have illegal touching by the offense.
Now watch this.
Loss of down.
All right, here's the ball. Down. Ball goes up. He makes the catch, and now it's back at the 36.
Yeah, hit his own man. It actually hit one of the offensive linemen in the back and came back, and that is the reason that it is an illegal pass, and Whitney should not have caught the ball. So you not only lose the yardage, but you lose the down, too.
Right. That is the key right there is the fact that he made the catch. He loses the yardage, and then with the penalty, he loses the down.
Bottom line, he shouldn't have caught it.
That's what I said. 2:33 to play, 21-11 Kansas State. And they're trying to put the wraps on this one.
Yep.
They're trying to make it 7 straight home opening wins.
That's Bill Snyder, what he has done with this program. When you look at where it was when he came to Manhattan, Kansas, I mean, it was 136-1, the program was, closing out the 80s. He came in 89. He was 1-10 his first year. And now, coming off a season in which he was 10-2, finished number 8 in the final AP poll, and they win a bowl game, the Holiday Bowl. Boy, it's something else.
Yeah, it really is. It's been terrific what he's done. He's not putting this one in his back pocket yet. As a matter of fact, Texas Tech needs the field goal somewhere along the way. Then they need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Well, they're going to line up here for the field goal, so they have got to hit this. Now, there's going to be 50-plus yards. They've got the leg, but they haven't been able to get it through the uprights.
And this is Jared Greaser on for Tony Rogers, who is just 1 of 5 on the afternoon.
He got it.
And it is good.
He got it. They're 1 touchdown away now.
Onside and recovered at the 44-yard line. So a big play by Kansas State. Justin Swift, number 86, the tight end, came up with it.
Number 86, Justin Swift.
Justin made a nice play on that ball and got it before it took the big hop. He lets that ball go any further, it's going to take that big hop, then it's anybody's ball.
With 2:26 left. 21-14. And Bill Snyder's club takes over offensively at the 44-yard line of Texas Tech, and Tech with just 1 timeout left to stop this clock. Kavanaugh loses the football on the exchange, and Texas Tech comes up with the football, I believe. Robert Johnson was there first, and what a huge turnover.
Do you believe it? Do you believe it?
On the exchange from Kavanaugh to Lawrence, they lose the football, and Robert Johnson there. Eric Butler, another man who was in there.
Boy, what a muff on the handoff. Watch Kavanaugh. The handoff. Just put it on his hip. Never got it to Lawrence at all. Lawrence, who's looking at the hole, had his hands open. It's the quarterback's job to put it in that breadbasket. He put it on his hip instead. He just did not get back to the ball carrier fast enough, or Lawrence took too wide of a route. Now watch Johnson. Here comes Johnson. He's flying to the football. He sees the play develop. Now the ball's loose. Oh, what a great play to get down Robert Johnson. Right now, Kavanaugh's got to be saying, what the heck did I do here? Put this game up for grabs. 2:18 left, still a lot of time for Texas Tech.
Eric Butler, the injured player, may just be a cramp as well. He walks off to the Tech sideline. But 2:18 left now. 21-14 Kansas State. Adrian Irvin in at the tailback spot. We haven't seen Hanspart in a while, and here is Irvin. A lot of room inside the 40 and down to the 33-yard line. The ball's loose.
Texas Tech
gets it back. A big hit by Mario Smith. Trying the ball loose.
Texas Tech shows you a lot of different formations. They run various plays out of these formations. Watch the hole open here. Just a little trap. Quick opener. Boy, that's a big hole. Once he got into the secondary, I don't think he could believe how much room he had, but Irvin just did a good thing. He just stayed in bounds, just kept running to get as much yardage. The ball actually hit that thing loose.
Gain of 19 on the play. First down at the 31. Quick out, incomplete. Pass the intended receiver. Denmark on the coverage.
That stops the clock with 1:57. Texas Tech still with 1 timeout left. Red Raiders have to have a touchdown. A field goal does not help them now.
Iron Hanspart on the bench, shoulder pads off. He left earlier in this quarter. The right ankle bothering him. Quick pitch to his replacement, Adrian Irvin, across the 15 down to the 14-yard line.
Number 22, Adrian Irvin.
About 3.5 yards short of a first down. 1:45 and counting.
All right, but they've got to pick up the pace here. The clock is still moving. They're down to 140, 139. They got to get in and out.
Philip Hayes, number 98, now in a wideout. There you see the time remaining. Irvin over the right side. Has a hole inside the 15 and down to the 14-yard line, and they'll move the chains at first down for Texas Tech.
1:17 to play, and that stops now while they move the chains, as Terry said. Now you're down in the four down area. It offers up so much more variety and puts so much pressure now on the defense.
Irvin again, the lone setback, 3 receivers to the far side. Lethridge with time. On the move. And threw it away. Smart play. Heat taking its toll. Boy, what a finish to this one. Kansas State had gone up 21-3, and it looked like they were running away with it. 2nd and 10 at the 14. Irvin in the backfield. And down goes Lethridge. Number 8, Deshaun Fogle was in there.
No question what they were doing. Fogle came loaded up in the middle. They were bringing the blitz. He's the middle linebacker. Let him go, let him fly. There was no way to pick him up at that point. They overloaded, shot the gap, just outnumbered them. It's a game of numbers. But too many jerseys, Kansas State jerseys on that side. You couldn't get them all.
But Texas Tech takes their last time out after the 5th sack of the afternoon by Kansas State. The Red Raiders out of timeouts with 50 seconds left. And Spike talking it over on the sidelines with Zebi Lethridge.
You know, when we talked to the Texas Tech coaches on Wednesday, we asked them, we said, hey, what happens now if it gets into a situation where you're tied? And they told us, no question about it, they had talked about it at great length. They say they will definitely go defense first to find out what they have to do to win, what kind of points they need to score to win.
I think that's what most coaches around the country would do, except there are times when you go by feel, either end zones, if you're going into an opposing student body, number 1, and how your team is playing.
Well, I think how the team is playing, the gut feeling. I mean, everybody would like to say, yeah, we need to know what we have to get. I mean, that's common sense. But other guys say, wait a minute, what if my defense has been on the field for the last 18 plays on a big drive that just tied the game? I want to get those guys a breather and get them out of there.
3rd and 13 at the 17-yard line. To the end zone, through the hands of Scoble and out of bounds, incomplete.
Down to one last play. That was too close. Bill Snyder didn't like it. He was upset on the sideline.
Mario Smith was there on the coverage. He had help from Chris Canny as well. So it brings up a 4th down and 13. And the final chance for Texas Tech to pull this one out.
Donnie Hart, the wide receiver, comes into the game. He's got the play. There's still a little bit of confusion.
Stacey Mitchell now comes in talking to Zebi Lethridge.
This is it.
Look at the play clock, Timmy, down to 4 now.
They aren't going to get this play off.
The play clock is run out.
There was confusion. Donnie Hart came in and brought in a play. Then Mitchell brought in another play. They weren't going to get it off to down to 2 seconds. They never even recognized the clock. And now, I mean, they were asking for a miracle anyway to go 4th down and score a touchdown, or at least get a first down inside the 4. Now they get backed up even more. So you got good news and bad news. The bad news is you're backed up. The good news is now you got more time to get organized.
So the delay of game backs them up, and the ball resting now at the 21-yard line.
You know, that clock is running again, and Spike Dykes is telling them to get on the field. Let's the assistants are out there talking to players.
Under 10 right now at 7 and counting.
They got to hurry again.
They get the play off. Over the middle and broken up inside the 5-yard line.
That was
Mario
close.
Smith jarred the ball loose.
That was close. Ball game.
So Hart walks to the sidelines. And 38 seconds left in this one. Kavanaugh to one knee and then hops up. They won't try to hand this one off. And remember what happened on their last drive. One play and the fumble on the exchange from Kavanaugh to Lawrence.
That's right. Well, it was a great effort by Texas Tech, but mistakes killed them today. They missed 4 field goals, and turned it over a couple of times. That really cost them. It was a bad snap that went into the end zone, and Kansas State got an easy touchdown.
Tough loss for Spike Dykes and Texas Tech, but they're happy here in Manhattan, Kansas. Bill Snyder's club with a 21-14 win in the opening game of the Big 12 Conference. And the genuine Chevrolet most valuable players of the game. There's a look at one of them. And another one. Byron Hanspart of Texas Tech with 115 yards today. Kevin Lockett, the receiver from Kansas State, 5 catches, 62 yards. He also blocked a field goal, had a big play. Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to East School's General Scholarship Fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements, to assist those in financial need. Chevrolet tradition, 21-14, your final from